People that say that they can take less money, a lot of the times they're lying. I'm being honest with you. Most people need to learn how to find what makes them happy. And no matter what goes on in there around them, they will always be happy. Once you get to that point in life, you start realizing no money, no job, no person, they can interfere because you start vibrating at a frequency that only happy people can get to. When you at that frequency that people can't reach, then you start realizing it was always a you thing. Yeah. And then when you start seeing that, then you start realizing like, it's not about the job. It's not about the people. It's not about, you know that Tyra steals. Okay, stay away from Tyra at the job. You know that Mike is lazy. Okay, stay away from Mike. Yeah. Just do your job and go home. Once you get to that point, you start realizing I'm not gonna internalize things and personalize things because of my level of work ethic and because of my beliefs and how I am as a person. That's a representation of them. When we stop trying to make the world like us, then you start enjoying who you truly are.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. I want to introduce y'all today. Listen, my beautiful co-host. Today we're going to start with my right, my sister Tashay. Miss Shay, how you feeling today?
I'm great. Hi, guys. Wonderful.
And to my left, my beautiful sister Myra.
Hello, guys. How are you? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. It's a fun day.
Hope so.
So I'm going to throw this on the floor. And I want my ladies to get involved. What defines a man? Make sure you guys hear this. To you.
All right.
What
so I'm
defines
going
a
to
man?
let Shay start.
Uh-oh.
No, what defines a man to me? Besides just DNA, I feel like his character, integrity, the way he takes care of his household, the way he takes care of his family, his responsibilities. I think that defines to me.
I like that. What you got?
You know, in addition to what Shay said, for me, what defines a man is his ability to lead. That's because once he has the ability to lead, everything else is going to fall into place. And that's just my opinion. He can lead his household. He can lead his family. He's just a leader all around.
I agree.
And also a man that can control his emotions. Because we all don't like the sassy man. So I like a man that's able to control his emotions, slow to anger, and very logical. So
I'm asking you both another question.
Okay.
What is a sassy man?
Very emotional, just always complaining, and not a leader, like Myra said. So if a man is defined by a leader, then a sassy man obviously isn't a leader.
I agree.
And a man that likes to go back and forth with you.
Yeah.
That for me is like the ultimate sass queen. Like he will sass queen. He will sit and go back and forth, tit for tat with you. And most men will be like, all right, babe, you got it, whatever. They kind of check out when it comes to the bickering thing. But a man that'll continuously go back and forth with you, do little petty things. Men that go out and they're standing on the couches popping bottles and there's all these beautiful ladies around. Like, it's certain things. It's such a big umbrella when it comes to sass. When it involves a man, it's a lot of things. And I know y'all ladies know what we're talking about because we see it all the time.
So if there's 10 men, how many you think out of 10 are sassy these days?
I got to read the room because sass is something that you can't just tell from looking at a man. You got to watch his behaviors.
Okay. So if in general, when you see like 10 men, how many do you think usually are more so sassy and more masculine?
I think more than half.
Yeah.
More than half?
I think more than half.
Yes.
I think men are more concerned, like Myra said, with other men in the room than they are with the women.
I
A lot
agree.
of times from what we see. My view is I feel like they want to impress other men.
They absolutely
It's about
do.
showing off for other men, and it'll be a whole bunch of women in the room, and it's like, bro,
They won't approach. They won't talk. They won't. And then they can't even hold conversations.
Right.
When a man tries to approach you, once they see that you have a little bit of intelligence to you, now it's like they get a little intimidated. So they can't even
see
hold
that.
a sensible conversation. And it's you know what? That's why I'm just glad I ain't in the dating world anymore. Because from what I hear, it's rough.
It is rough, and I think there is a lot of men nowadays that are sassy, very, very, very sassy. And like for instance, one of y'all said, I don't know which one of y'all said, was the overly whining. I can't stand a man that whines a lot, especially when they have no real motion. And then it's like you got no real motion. I can see if you got real motion, and then you're talking about you're tired, then that makes sense to me. But if you got no real motion, you need to be working harder. In my opinion, you know. And I think the nuance of men that we're dealing with today, a lot of them are very emotional, and then on top of it, they voice opinions when they don't even have the receipts themselves. And I do see what somebody also said. A lot of men do try to impress each other more than ever. I do see that
Absolutely.
now. I do see that.
But what do you think defines a man, Q?
I think consistency is one. You know, I think y'all also said leadership. And leadership is having a destination, knowing where you're going, and on top of it, having a timestamp to when you plan on arriving. It's beautiful to say what you want, but it's another thing when you don't have no real steps or no real blueprint to get to where you're getting. It's hard to follow somebody that's blind. And a lot of times when you're dealing with men, these days, a lot of men, they lead blindly and they expect a woman to just take their hand and just follow them when she can see that he clearly going the wrong direction. So to me, that's a level of sass in itself, because that's an emotional driven man. He's not logical. You know, that's the guy that thinks he's gonna be rich and he's lazy. That's the guy that thinks that he's high value when he hasn't even built value. You know, and we just call it what it is. You know.
Do you think like that causes a lot of people to stay like not just stagnant themselves, but in stagnant relationships with the hope of just thinking like he's going somewhere, or a woman just, you know, having that patience and waiting for that guy because she believes in him? Like, when do you think, when you say you put a timestamp on it, like when do you think, okay, who defines when the time's up based off of, you know, the statement that you made?
I look at things like when you say what's 1 + 1? 1 + 1 = 2, right? And 2 + 2 =
4.
So that means you're seeing growth, right?
Right.
That's what I say, timestamp. I have to see growth.
Right.
And, you know, you can't just be saying, I want to open up a mechanic shop, and you don't see he's saving towards buying a mechanic shop, right? If you see the account growing, you see the working overtime to get the resources. Because, again, when a woman is not around you, she's also losing time for you. So if you're losing time for your woman, you got to make sure that there's a plan on how I'm going to get back some of this time. You can't just be losing time, and the goal is just to work 5 jobs, and there's no plan on how we're going to get out of these 5 jobs. I think that's very selfish in a relationship, because a relationship do need time, affection, attention. So if a man is not thinking like that, I think the man needs a level of delusion. I'm like, yeah, you're working hard, but you also have to realize, what are you working hard towards? Right. Not to stay stagnated, as she said, not to stay in a same position and forever. You know, you got to grow, right? So what do y'all see now? What do y'all hear about the dating world today?
I mean, I feel like, yes, some people say it's rough, but I think it's all based on what you're looking for, where you're going, where are people going, where do you even go to date now? Like, I feel like if you could put up a profile, I could say I am whoever.
100%.
I could say whatever. You know what I mean? I could tell you I work here, I make this, I do this, my interests are this. Like, everyone is going to come with their representative first. You have to really take the time out to get to know someone wherever you're meeting them. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes we don't take enough time to ourselves to even know what we want. And then you kind of just, sometimes you're starving that you settle for crumbs and it feels like a feast. You know what I'm saying? Because you just haven't, right? Like, sometimes I feel like you know, we women feel like we're starving so much. We get a little bit of crumbs. It feels like a feast. And it's like, my new man. You didn't really take the time out. So I feel like, I don't know if it's fair to say the dating world sucks. I think it's who you're choosing. Because you need to take the time out to get to know the person that you laying up with. You know what I'm saying? Before you decide to make that relationship, you know what I'm saying, public, or make it like, this is my man or this is my whatever. I think a lot of times people just date with, they say you should date with intention, right? But I feel like nowadays people you just dating anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are your standards? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Because I see a lot of people dating men that they would say they would never date, or my guy friends that are dating women that they say they would never date. So I said, when did you start dropping your standards or shrinking your value to fit in that little space that was created for you? You know, so I think it's all just subjective. It depends on, just got to take the time out to know what you're looking for, who you're dating, you know?
I agree with you.
And I just think the values also of dating have changed. Like we always talk about this. Like dating is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So when you were interested in someone, you dated them, you went out, you communicated with them, you took the time to get to know them. Now that's not happening. Everyone is jumping right into sex.
100% facts.
So it is complicating things. People are not getting to know each other. They're not seeing the red flags that are there because they're moving too fast. And then by then it's too late because now you done shared your bed with this person, you done shared your body with them. So it is just, from what I hear, it's, you know, it's rough. It's rough out there for the ladies because they feel like these men don't have consistency. They're bad communicators. They don't know how to plan things. They don't know how to court a woman. Court as in meet her, take her out, you know, pick her up, you know, these romantic things. So it's, from what I hear, it's rough.
But I think the expectation of women too is different.
It is.
Some women are just looking for what they don't bring to the table. It's like, Q has brought this up. Like, I need a man who is this, who's this, who's this, who's this. You can't be looking for somebody who's a 6-figure earner, but you don't have a job.
Right.
Or you on Section 8, and you just feel like you are entitled to having that kind of man. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like a woman who feels deserving of a man is going to meet a man who feels like, is she deserving of me, or what is she bringing to the table? Like, you can't walk to the table empty-handed asking another man, or what he bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel. I think women do have expectations of these men that some of them can't fulfill. So it's...
That's where my stance is. I feel like I can understand someone that is super educated, if they're more intellectual, they don't have to just be educated, but if you're an intellect, I can understand why you're more attracted to an intellect. But I do believe that today's society, it's more financially driven, and this is why you have so many failures in relationships. And then a lot of the times when people find themselves back on the market, they realize that they were the problem. Because a lot of times you start realizing that, as you said, the expectations become so delusional where people don't know whether it's real or it's fake. You know, for instance, we watch social media. All of us, at some point or some way, we're watching social media. And social media do give you a false pretense of what a healthy relationship look like.
Yes.
You know, they got these guys giving these bouquets of, one of my boys did it one year. He gave a bouquet of money flowers. You know, the flowers with a bouquet of money. And it was fake. Him and a girlfriend did a skit. And he put hundreds all in there. And all the girls was in the comments was like, I need a real man that does that. And to be honest with you, they've been having problems for years. And again, from the surface, everything looks good. But again, when you peel back the onion, you'll start crying. And I do see a lot of people, they tend to overly watch the surface of a relationship, you know, and that's what I'm seeing in real time. And it bothers me because so many people believe that social media relationships are real. You don't notice the healthiest ones that look like online, they always end up breaking up?
Yeah.
You don't notice that?
Always.
The cheapest weddings last the longest too.
That's true.
You know, the cheapest weddings last the longest, the most expensive weddings fail fastest. You know,
because a lot of
because
people have weddings, but they don't have marriages.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But I do believe too, though, that to know what a healthy relationship is, you have to take time for yourself. You have to be single for a while. You have to kind of learn your likes, your dislikes, so you know what you're looking for. I think sometimes people are very uncomfortable being alone. I think a lot of people feel like to be whole means that they have to be codependent. They have to be with someone. And I find that you get your most clarity when you have an unobscured view, when you realize, like, you know what, I could be alone. I could survive alone. And being alone will kind of build a stepping stone to, like, now when a guy steps to you, now you know, because you spend so much time with yourself. Like, I don't like this. You see the red flags. And I think when we start dating, take the time out to know that man, like you and Myra said before you sleep with him, know his family. You need to know so much. We laugh at stuff like that when people say stuff like, where's he going? What's his job? What's his credit?
Yes.
But these are things that you need to know if you are dating with intention. It's who is it that I'm going to be with and
100%.
not just what he shows on the
100%,
surface. But you got to
100%.
pull those layers back because it's crazy out here, y'all. Crazy out here.
I mean, when
to
Shay
date
said that,
yourself.
some people just don't want to be, just
Alone.
can't be alone. It
Yeah.
just took me back because, I won't give any names on this, but I have a friend and it's kind of like that with her. Like, I'm always just switching. And I'm always like, listen, take time to be by yourself. You taking all of this old baggage and you just transferring it over and wondering why you're having the same issues, why you're having the same problems, why you're running into the same issues with these men. Because you haven't even taken the time to figure your life out.
100%.
To figure yourself out.
100%.
Some people really have an issue with being alone.
Yes.
Why y'all don't like yourself?
Yes.
What's the problem with getting to know yourself and spending some alone time with yourself and fixing those things, and then you can move forward and get to know someone else?
Then you could ask that question of what you bring to the table.
What you bring to the table
You
when
know?
you can center and balance yourself out.
Yeah.
Sometimes women, like Shay said, we just to be taking crumbs just to say we're in a relationship, just to say we have someone or to
Yep.
sleep with someone at
Yep.
night. But you don't know yourself.
I think that's a both way thing. I think a lot of men, usually men date across the board and down. So if a man is, let's say if 10 being the highest man is a level 10. If a man feels like he's a level 3 or he's at a level 3, they usually date a 3 and down. So most men don't usually date above them. Most men date what's equivalent to where they at. I think more women will be a 2 and think that she deserves a 10. So you do meet more women try to date across the board and up. So when you sit down and see men and women, we just have 2 different outlooks on them dating. I do believe that more women do believe that they're warranted more value than they actually bring to the table.
Right.
So I do understand why some women feel like you can't just tell me your looks is your value.
Right.
If your looks are your value, you're gonna lose it real fast. Because we all know as we age, we don't look the same.
Right.
It's just what it is. So when I say what value is, that's what we gotta identify. When a person say, what do you bring to the table? And they be like, the whole table. And I'm like, you're just a person.
Right.
That's just 9 out of 10 times a liability.
Right.
Because when you have those conversations and people that usually have those conversations, that's usually people that don't bring anything to the table. Because I don't have to ask a person, you can kind of see someone's value as you start moving up in life. You can tell and how secure they are with themselves. The last thing I want to say is also when you deal with somebody that haven't dated themselves. One day my boy was on a date and he went out and he was sitting at the bar and he saw a girl and he was like, yo, who you here with? She was like, I'm here by myself. And he called me, he was like, I'm talking to this girl, she here by herself. And I was like, that's a good thing.
Right.
I said, that means she's comfortable
right.
being alone.
That's right.
And, and she was like, she needs to learn herself, she needs to figure herself out. So I told him that's fire. And as we started talking, they actually got engaged. This is years later, of course, but they got engaged. And I'm like, this woman was secure with herself, because the one thing I think that women don't identify, and I'm just saying this, a lot of women don't know the difference between being strong and masculine and strong and feminine. So when you look at a lot of women, they think that they're strong, but I'm like, you're strong and masculine. You're not strong and feminine. Like, you could be a very strong woman and still feminine. Still
Okay.
love your wedges, still love your heels, still love your perfume, still love, there's some women that are so strong, they're like borderline mechanics. Like, you gotta understand, like, you're too masculine. And I'm like,
Right.
it's a turn off to the masculine energy that a lot of women want to attract.
So let's clarify that. So what in your definition would be a strong masculine woman?
A strong masculine woman in most cases is a woman that's overly aggressive.
Okay.
And she loves to assert her dominance with her mouth opposed to just her actions.
Okay.
She talks big talk. Oh, I can do this, and if a man can do it, I can do it. I'm like, you're in competition with the person you want the world to see you as. I walk into a room, I don't have to tell a room I'm there because I know I'm who I am.
Okay.
So when a person that's not usually secure, no disrespect, and I'm not disrespecting anybody, I'm gonna just be honest. You ever seen somebody that's the opposite sex, but they act like they're the opposite sex? You notice that they overly compensate for what they aren't,
Yeah.
right? You can have a gay person who they're just gay.
Right.
And they don't have to be extra. When a person usually is not something, they overreact to what they aren't. So it is the same thing with the person that is in masculine or the woman that is in the true masculine. She overcompensates for what she's really not. So therefore, usually a lot of times if you pull her, you get to know her, you'll see that she's a teddy bear. But she is a persona. Maybe it's a survival tactic. She had to learn how to be like that to survive.
Okay.
But I do believe that you can still be strong and still feminine. You know?
So what's a strong feminine woman?
A strong feminine woman is a woman who gets her stuff done, do what she got to do, but you can tell that she's still a woman and she's comfortable being a woman. You ever see a woman where you, like, if you close your eyes and you put a different voice on her, the way she talks, she sounds like a dude, you know? But then there's a woman that you can legit close your eyes and no matter what voice you put on her, you would think that's a feminine man if you put a man voice on her.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to say. You have a lot of women, they don't know how to differentiate the two. Like, I'm like, you're too masculine. And a lot of times, I hate to say this, a lot of women have taken on the energy of their broken mothers and they don't know it. They've taken on a lot of energy. For instance, the women that are angry towards men is because your mother taught you how to be angry with men because the man that didn't save her to the expectations of what she thought should have saved her.
Right.
So you meet women that are like, men ain't nothing. I'm like, it's not that men aren't nothing. It's that you believed that this guy was coming to save you that didn't come to save you. And now all men have to feel the wrath of what you didn't get. And this is why you see so many women walking around hurting because of the fact that they didn't get what they was expecting. And it's kind of sad, you know?
But do you feel like some women are forced
Thank you,
to
Dasani.
be strong, to just be in this role because, like Myra said before, maybe if you have a sassy man, you know what I'm saying? So now you're put into this position where, I don't want to say you have to be masculine because I don't know if that's the right word, but kind of like you kind of feel like that woman has to get into her masculinity because, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right way I'm wording it, but because her other half is just not stepping up to the road or leading, then she has to.
I could see that, but you ever heard the saying, and we talk about this a lot, you ever heard the saying of a woman say something like, he got to get me in my feminine? That's one of the dumbest statements on earth because a woman is not going to have to get me into my masculine energy. You are who you present. And in most cases, we usually see it from first view of who you truly are. A lot of times men, as we get to know a woman, we realize we put her in a box. So for instance, if she's over masculine, but I put in a lot of work, most guys gonna be like, I'm gonna hit that. He's not gonna stop until you hit it. But after you hit it, he's gonna make sure that I'm gonna get up out of here, you know?
But we were talking about that before, that the masculinity proportion, that comes from being hyper independent.
Yes.
So that's why we say, because we're doing so much all the time by ourselves. So that's why when we say a man has to get me into my feminine, that basically means we're going to do what? Submit. Why? Because he's going to take the lead. He's going to take control. He's going to take the wheel of the car. We can sit in the passenger side. So that's when we mean get me into my feminine. That means I can step out of this role of having to take care of everything and I can submit. Your favorite word.
I agree, but I do believe that a lot of times when women talk about the things that they have to be responsible for, that's a part of being an adult.
It is.
It's a part of being an adult. For instance, a lot of times when you have the luxury car and the luxury lifestyle, you should be able to put yourself in a position where you can afford that for yourself. To want someone to give you that lifestyle, that's what entitlement is. And when you listen to a lot of women that talk like that, is because they feel very entitled. So I'm like, the fact that you believe that a man is less than because he can't give you the lifestyle that you want, that means you either A, a gold digger, or you're very entitled. And usually one of the traits of entitlement is narcissism. And that's what you see a lot of people that believe that a man is less than because he can't give me the lifestyle that I want, which is kind of crazy. You know, because the reality is, if he can help me provide stability, he can protect, and he can make sure that it's stable here, he's ultimately a good man. Every man can't be a millionaire. Every woman can't be a millionaire. Every woman is not gonna have a luxury lifestyle. Every man is not gonna have a luxury lifestyle. More people are going to be average than not. More people will be surviving and living decent than living great. Most cases, you have more people that will live great when two people bring all of their stuff to the table and they're willing to create a great recipe together and they're willing to cook together, then you'll see the greatest recipe. But most people believe that something is existing that's gonna come to them and they're gonna become greater because of a man. I'm gonna be honest with you, most men that are financially extremely secure, when they meet a woman, they don't see her as a partner. They see her as every bit as a business move. It's a object.
So let me ask you this. Men who are financially secure, a high valued man, as you would say, what are 3 main qualities that a man like that is looking for in a woman versus your average man?
The number one trait that any good woman should have is respect. And the one thing that a lot of women don't understand, your respect shouldn't waver because of anger. Because if my respect, if my self-control wavers because of anger and I hit you, I'm a horrible man, right? Which is a physical abuse. But when your anger wavers because of anger, that means you lack something called self-control. And when you lack self-control, that means you're clearly not an adult. Because when you're younger, you fly off the reservation when you're upset.
Right.
When you're older, you're supposed to have self-control in anger. And if you're screaming and yelling, that shows a lack of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. When a person don't have emotional intelligence, they act a fool. When they don't have emotional maturity, when the emotions arrive, they act like a fool. And that's not healthy, right? An adult shows in any situation, I have to be every bit of accountable for my behavior. When a woman that can't do that and say, you know what, I called you every name in the book because of my anger, that is a child. That is a child.
I agree.
You know, it's just what it is. You know, I can't justify my behavior. If I beat my girl to a bloody pulp and say I had no self-control, you're going to say, I still love you and we're going to go move on? In the same way, the woman, y'all don't physically hit us, but y'all verbally abuse us by the way y'all speak to us in anger. And then you want us to still feel like we should do the things that we should do for you. But in reality, with every blow comes a level of losing. He's subtracting himself, because now he's putting himself in a space where he's trying to protect himself because he can't be vulnerable with you to the point where you can hurt him. Because only the woman that you choose outside of your mother is the woman that can actually hurt you and pierce your armor. And it's just reality.
But I agree and disagree with that. I feel like there are a lot of dudes out here that are looking for their women to be their mother. I feel like sometimes people are in relationships that they just shouldn't be in relationships. If your relationship is that toxic where you feel like you have no self-control, because I feel like sometimes you have people that are together that disagree and it doesn't get to that level. I think when it gets to a level of whether it's verbal or physical abuse, then maybe that's just 2 people that just shouldn't be together. Some people just stay in places where it's no longer serving them. It's like you being in a job for 15 years and you realizing that you hate it so much, but you stay because the pay is good or the benefits are good. I feel like sometimes we do that in relationships. You stay in these relationships that you know it's over and you're dragging it out. And then we bring children into these relationships, and the children now get to see the level of toxicity that's in the home, that's in the relationship. And that doesn't help, because now you're teaching your children, you know, they're a representation of you. You're teaching them what to accept, what to become, how to show up in the world by the example of the lack of self-control, the lack of leadership, the lack of example in the home. So I feel like if we're at that level where it's nonstop bickering, nonstop arguing, then it's time to just go our separate ways. Because I do believe that, you know, you could love some people from a distance.
I do believe that a lot of the people that, even when they break up with that person, they're going to be the same person in the next relationship.
You think so?
100%.
You think that's a trait that just carries on?
It's you.
No matter who you're with?
It's who you are.
Yep.
100%.
I agree with that.
100%. Because in your mind, we believe that, you know, somebody that, like, in the perfect example, you use an analogy about a job. When you go to your job and you first get the job, they start paying you. I couldn't wait to get this paid, but over time, you start complaining about it, right? Then you get another job. What do you, over time, you start doing?
Complaining.
That's just the person. That's who they are. They're going to always figure out something to be ungrateful for, because that's just a person that's not just grateful. They're just not a grateful person.
Everyone is like that? I don't
Most
think it's
people
fair
are.
to say everyone is like that.
No, I think most people that complain a lot, they're just people that will always complain. There's just something wrong with them. Because a good person will always find good in everything. If it's raining today, I'm going to say, at least I don't have to water my grass. That's a healthy person. An unhealthy person is someone who always finds something negative in everything. That's just their character. That's a character flaw. They have to work on themselves. Because 9 out of 10 times when you look at self, we project. And a lot of times when you're having a conversation with a person, if I treat you bad, it's because I'm projecting. Right? And it's just human nature. Yep. We haven't been taught that you're projecting. Projecting is when you start sitting down, y'all can't stand my boss. They're the boss, do your job, go to hell home. Save your money so you don't have to be there forever. Now when you start talking like that, they'll find another person tomorrow to go to do what? Complain.
Right.
And that's just their character. They're going to always look for somebody who's going to basically pour into their foolishness, opposed to look at themselves and say, you know what, I'm here for a job. Let me do my job and go home. Opposed to let me keep finding reasons to complain. Your job is not supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be loving your friends and colleagues on your job. They're called colleagues. You're supposed to have friends outside of your job that genuinely value you and love you. If me and you become friends at a job, then so be it. But people go to jobs and looking for like attention and affection. Your home is supposed to be that place of peace.
People who genuinely love their jobs. I don't think that's true.
No, it's true. That's a good thing.
Love their job.
That's a good thing. But I think that person that love their job is the person that find good in everything.
Right.
That's the person that finds good in things.
Right.
You know, it's just what it is. You have people that don't make good money. They complain less than people that make a lot of money.
Right.
But like I said, your job is not because it be fun. It's supposed to be for the income and the stability that it provides.
Right.
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
You should find stability in something that you. I don't know. Maybe this is when you guys may disagree with me. I do feel like you should get some enjoyment out of the things that you're doing. Why would you want to be doing something that you hate for 30 years? You're comfortable with doing something you really dislike for 30 years. I feel like you have people that'll take pay cuts because they're happy. People, I'm not saying it's all about happiness, but why would I want to be miserable at work for the next 30 years just because it's benefits that comes with it and it's a decent pay? I'd rather take a little bit of pay cut for my happiness. That's me. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't want to stay somewhere where I'm just miserable just because it pays me. It's the same thing about being in a relationship. Because why? Because you're both paying bills or you're both there, so you stay if you're miserable. Why would you want to do that?
What's the best phone carrier you ever had? Would you say is the best phone carrier?
Oh, none of them.
best?
They're all
The best phone
horrible.
carrier.
I mean, yeah, they all. Probably
what's the worst?
AT&T.
The AT&T is the best?
AT&T was
Oh, which one do you think is the worst?
T-Mobile sucks.
T-Mobile.
So could you go from AT&T to T-Mobile?
Could I go from AT&T
AT&T to T-Mobile.
I wouldn't want to.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like when people that say that they can take less money, a lot of the times they're lying. I'm being honest with you. Most people need to learn how to find what makes them happy. And no matter what goes on in there around them, they will always be happy. Once you get to that point in life, you start realizing no money, no job, no person, they can interfere because you start vibrating at a frequency that only happy people can get to. When you at that frequency that people can't reach, then you start realizing it was always a you thing. Yeah. And then when you start seeing that, then you start realizing like it's not about the job, it's not about the people. It's not about, that Tyra steals. Okay, stay away from Tyra at the job. You know that Mike is lazy. Okay, stay away from Mike. Yeah. Just do your job and go home. Once you get to that point, you start realizing I'm not gonna internalize things and personalize things. Because of my level of work ethic and because of my beliefs and how I am as a person. That's a representation of them. When we stop trying to make the world like us, then you start enjoying who you truly are. There, Tyler.
I think it's a blessing to actually do what you love and get paid for it. Like it's a process to it. Not everybody is gonna be able to do what they love and get paid for it. Like if you're in a situation where you have to get that job and you can't do what you love because what you love is not gonna pay you, you might have to get the job. So I think doing what you love for and getting paid for it's a process. It takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time.
But at home, that's where you're supposed to create that. And when there's if you have no peace in your house, then you created a toxic environment. Because the one thing I love about God, and God has given everybody the ability to choose their one family member. Their one family member. Right? For instance, we're born with families, our moms, dads, we have no choice on that. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right.
But your mate is that one family member that you get to choose.
Yeah.
And if you chose a person that complements your trauma, or that's every bit of a bond to your trauma, then you're the problem. Because reality is, if I want to get in a better relationship with God, I want a praying woman. If I want a woman that cries about traveling the world and I don't have that money, why would I even entertain her? Right. So the reality is I'm gonna entertain someone who's pleasing to where I wanna go with my life. So therefore, I'm not complaining about my life. A lot of people complain about their lives because they engage with people and then they're miserable within themselves and then they project it onto the person that they with. You're not giving me the life I want. It's like, that's the problem within itself.
Right.
And one day when they meet God gonna look at them like, yo, you butchered these girls and these guys because of what you wanted for yourself, which is usually selfish. Is usually selfish.
But I think that goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, which is taking the time to yourself or taking the time to get to know the person you're with. Because I think sometimes the dissatisfaction comes from the expectation that was set in such a short time where you didn't know each other, and then you always hear, oh, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know she was like that. I thought he was different. I thought she was different. I think
It's
when
a
you
lack of
take the
accountability.
time out, though,
It's a
to
lack
get
of
to know
accountability.
the person, then you make a better decision. And okay, no?
That's a lack of accountability.
What do you mean?
At a point in time, it may have been good for you in that time, but can you say I've grown? I can take that. But to disrespect somebody and say, oh, you pretended, there were red flags. Only a fool at our big ages can't see certain aspects of people at a very early age.
That's not true, because I think some people show up differently. I feel like sometimes
I think that's an
you
excuse.
have people that are dating people that may say, I thought he was different or she was different by the way they show up with that representative. I don't think sometimes people show their true color. You don't know. You may not know someone is physically abusive. You may not have known a lot
This I
of things
could go
about
for.
someone
I can go for that.
in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes
But
over
laziness
time-
and those things, you can see those things early. There are certain things, most cases,
Yeah.
you see deal breakers very early that you choose that you feel you can change. And then we complain about the deal breakers that we accepted. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was married and I got divorced. And the things that I complained about at the end is the things I accepted in the beginning.
Right.
And I'm fair to myself. Most people will blame the other person opposed to blaming themselves. And that's the issue. And 9 out of 10 times, they'll go back in the dating market and do the same thing and date a person just like that because they can't see that they're the problem. And when you're not saying, oh, he didn't come the way he was supposed to, oh, he did, therefore you're not gonna see that you're the problem. And when you can't become accountable, you're gonna continue to choose the same exact aesthetically pleasing people, the representation of what you thought was cool, and you're gonna keep bringing those same people. And then you're gonna look at life and say, oh, these men were bad. No, that wasn't the men, it was you. And rather than work on yourself, because in order to project from the internal, it comes out externally. The way you feel internally shows externally. You ever see somebody rude as hell?
Yeah.
That's how they feel about themselves. That's how they feel about them. They miserable.
Yeah.
But again, when I started looking at myself and said, Q, moving forward, you chose this person.
Right.
Whether good, bad, or indifferent, you could have grown in the 8 years, 10 years, 12 years you've been with this person. But in reality, there was a time where that person was feasibly good for your chapter, your book. And that's why you stayed so long. You can't blame somebody for the decision that you chose to stay in.
How long were you married?
Oh, man, forever. Forever. A long time.
So can you stay in a relationship
18
that
years.
has no growth?
18 years.
No.
And by growth, I mean, obviously, let's say you're with someone for 5 years. The person you are today shouldn't be the person you are 5 years later. If that person that you are dating now remains that same person, do you think those are terms for saying, okay, you can't do this because there is no growth in the relationship?
I think a lot of times when we say growth, we tend to point it directly towards finance. When you
overall,
not
right.
overall, okay.
Yeah,
when
overall.
we say growth, I'm looking at growth in the sense of maturity.
Right.
I'm looking at the growth in a sense of respecting me as I change.
Right.
Like, I think the healthiest relationship is when a person don't get in the way of who you becoming.
Right.
And it's supportive. For instance, I could have met you could have been a stay-at-home girlfriend. Then we got married, you went into your career, while you was going to school. You were a stay-at-home girlfriend while going to school, right? So I don't know how you look in the corporate world.
Right.
So now we're married and now you're in the corporate world, you've changed. But and now your confidence is higher, you bring in your own money in, you have more voice in the house. But that person that could adjust to that is the person that loves you.
Right.
And the person, because again, if I don't hold you back, it's because I want you to spread your wings.
Right.
If I hold you back, it's because I don't want you to spread your wings. And the fact that I'm not holding you back is because I'm accepting you spreading your wings.
Right.
And I want you to be able to fly. A confident man is comfortable, it don't matter where his woman is financially. A woman's finances, in most cases, don't make or break a man. What makes or breaks a man is her mouth. 100%. What confident man, finances of a woman do not make or break a man. It's her mouth that makes or break a man. It's how she speaks to him. Sometimes over years and not looking at yourself and seeing how you've broken this person is why you're neglecting the fact that this person may feel the way they feel because of you. And a lot of the things that you did was reignite traumas within that person. For instance, I'm dating you. Your father could have been very verbally abused. Or let's say hypothetically your mom. I can trigger certain aspects in you that actually make you do something called fight or flight. There are people that literally go into their shells when you speak negative to them. They're just not built like that. But the fact that you're extremely confident, I'm extremely confident, we want the world to be us.
Right.
And everyone is not like that. Right? It's just not like that. It's just reality.
You know, it's... When I met my husband, right? When you talk about, because it's just hitting home for me, he wasn't the greatest communicator.
Okay.
That's something like you said, I accepted from the beginning. But now he has grown because I am an awesome communicator. He has grown. I've kind of rubbed off on him.
Okay.
But I had to coax him, like you said. I had to learn because when he wouldn't communicate the way I wanted him to communicate with me, I would get frustrated. I would get angry.
Yes.
My fuse would be very short because I'm talking to you in a clear, concise way, and you're just not understanding.
Yes.
But now he has been reciprocating that back.
Wow.
He's learning to communicate.
Wow.
He's learning my triggers.
Wow.
What triggers me, because I don't disrespect my husband, but we all say things when we get angry.
Of course.
We've said things.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Okay.
So we haven't really had that fight in a long time because when I communicate with him, he communicates back. He has a hard time taking compliments. I'll say, oh, you look nice today. Oh, well, you don't go. And I'll say, no, say thank you. And he say, thank you. It's like I had to, we're like, I'm training them, you know, like to learn how to take compliments and learn how to communicate effectively. So,
but a lot of times you see us, we're just big people who learn from little people how to be these big people. Like you see a older person, all they are is a big mirror of what they've experienced. Like for instance, my love language is words of affirmation. That's my love language. So sometimes if a person, oh, you just want somebody to pat you on your back, I'm like, I didn't choose my love language. Right? For instance, yours might be time. And because maybe growing up, you didn't get the time and the attention that you felt like you should have got. Sometimes a lot of the times, I'm going to say this, more women are attention whores than actual whores. Because, no, I'm being honest. People diss a lot of women for being attention whores, and a lot of them are because of the fact that they didn't get the level of attention they should have.
Right.
A lot of the times, boys get more attention from the mothers. And a lot of us come from single parent homes. So if you come from a single parent home, a lot of the boys get more attention from the mom. So that little girl that's seeking attention was supposed to get the attention from her father. And the fact that the father wasn't there, she seeks it. And a lot of times you be like, oh, she's a hoe. No, she doesn't have to necessarily be a hoe. She's looking for what she didn't get from a very young age.
Right.
And it's kind of sad, but when you don't understand how the human brain operates, it gravitates towards the attention because that little girl in her is still seeking validation.
Yeah.
That little boy in him is still seeking the motherly love or the fatherly, that he, you know, like more boys will rebel against a man giving them advice than a woman.
Right.
Because they got more advice from a woman.
Right.
I have a harder time talking to men that didn't have men in their life because they feel like once they get to a certain age, I'm a man, you can't tell me nothing. It's an ego thing.
Right.
Like today, me and my boy was talking about when you have no humility, it's hard to talk to you even if it's trying to help you. Yeah. Most people can't differentiate helping and hurting. They take it the same. So if you say something that makes me feel, automatically I'm taking it as you're trying to hurt me. But again, the way you grew up, most of us, we played the dozens. The dozens, for those who don't know, is called snapping. Most of us come from a generation where people snapped on you.
Right.
So therefore, you don't know you're trying to play me.
Right.
So therefore, that's become a survival tactic now. I'm gonna be on the defense every time. I ain't letting nobody play me no more because you got snapped on when you was younger. We all did that. We all flamed each other. We all did that. So now you're an adult who's might be projecting that childhood trauma as an adult because you never rectified that childhood trauma as an adult. Right?
You know, it's funny you say
Childhood
that because that
trauma.
brings me story time. So my mom had me as a teenager, right? And
Same.
her mother had her as a teenager.
Wow.
So she was 17 when she had her. She was 18 when she had me. And my mother's father died when her mother was pregnant with her.
Wow.
So my mom never knew her dad.
Wow.
My mother, I'm really sorry, my mother not watching this, but my grandmother,
Keep it PG.
my grandmother kind of trusted my father with my mom at a very young age. You know what I
Okay,
mean? So my
okay.
mother was like 15, 16 when my grandmother was like, all right, like that's your boyfriend, go ahead. So my mom, she didn't have that leadership. She didn't have that example.
Yes.
And I feel like, so my mom moved here. This is all in Jamaica, guys. So my mom moved here, you know, for a better life. My mom moved here when I was about maybe a year old. I didn't meet my mom again until I was like 6. So I grew up with my grandmother. And my dad was like in and out of prison. You know, my dad went away for years and years at a time. And I feel like I always wanted this relationship with my mom that I just didn't have. And I would get so mad at her because I didn't understand how my brothers had that relationship with her. And it was like, why can't you love me a certain way? Why can't I come to you and talk to you a certain way? And I would always even tell Myra, like, you know, I admire the relationship with you and your mom. Fast forward, when I got married with my husband, I used to get so annoyed with him and his mother's relationship because I'm like, you and mama's boy. Like, why are your mother so close? Why your mother always this? Why your mother so that?
Little
and
girl
he would be
projecting.
like, that's just how we are, you know. But I thought it was weird because I never had it.
Little girls
and
projecting.
up to this day, like my mom and my relationship are
Like that.
we're getting better. But to say we're close, I wouldn't say we're very close. We don't hug. We don't kiss. We don't, you know, even when I'm like, I love you, Mom, she's like, all right, I love you too. It's like weird because it's not something that we're used to doing. So I do feel like sometimes that little girl in me, I wouldn't say jealous because I love to see people with that great relationship with their mom. But I think even as an adult, I still kind of yearn for it. So to my kids, I feel like sometimes I over love and overcompensate and overdo. And I have 2 boys, but you know, my son is going to be 13. Sometimes he wants to just like lay with me. Like, Mom, I want to lay with you. And I'm like, you 2 grown to be laying with me. And I have to kind of catch myself and
Yes.
say, no, he wants to lay with you.
Yes.
Let him lay with you. Why are you pushing him away? And I feel like
Because you was pushed away.
But I don't even know if my mom pushed me away or if she just didn't know.
If something
how
wasn't done to
do
the
it.
magnitude of what you felt loved, that's how you received it.
There is
understand?
a weird dynamic, and it needs to be studied between the eldest born daughters and mothers.
They always had a clash.
I don't know what it is there, why it is a conflict of interest between the eldest daughters and mothers. I don't know. I see things. They say sometimes our mothers are jealous of us. Sometimes we bear so much of the weight of them becoming mothers. And I can't even say it's in the Black community because it transcends to every color. It needs to be studied of what it is the issue
you.
between the eldest, between, let's just say, daughters and mothers. I'm not saying that mothers don't love on their daughters, but it's like so much weight and pressure is put onto us that's not put onto it. My mothers treat my brothers like gold. It's 4 of us, and me and my sister, we're like,
Chop liver?
what'd you say?
Chop liver?
No, not necessarily chopped liver, but we're almost like the gatekeepers or something. Like, you know, we are ones that have the glue. We always got to keep things together and pull things together. When they get into messes, we're always to save them. But who come and save us?
I think as women, like Q said, it's like, I don't know. I just always wanted my mom to be proud. I always felt like I needed her to be proud. I went to school, I got good grades. Like, you know what I'm saying? I graduated high school, I was 15 years old. I thought that was like, oh my God. I thought she was going to do it. She was just like, well, I sent you to school to get good grades. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I started college at 16. I went to Hofstra University and my mom was just like, I didn't feel like she, and I know my mom loves me and she's there for me to help me with anything. But I feel like her mom didn't love her the way she needed to be loved. And I just don't think my mom knows how. But does she? Because my brothers, I feel like, get a different version of her than I do. I feel like...
Because that's our balance.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is it about me where I feel like it was a little unfair in the household where I felt like I became responsible for my brothers before my mom realized that I felt like she had 2 kids and a babysitter. You know what I'm saying? And not 3 kids. So it's sometimes, I don't know, maybe Myra's right, the oldest daughter and the mom. But I mean, I love my mom. She's great. And I'm not really, you know, ish talking, but I'm just saying come in agreement with you of what you're saying, that trauma projects. Because you look at other people, and I said his relationship with his mom bothered me. But it shouldn't have been bothersome. She loved her son. Her son loved her. Like, might as well go this way. He hugging up on her and they kissing and she kissing him. And I'm just like, oh my God, y'all doing too much. What is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not too much. It's a mother-son love.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting dynamic because I feel the same way, but opposite. Like, I'm the youngest of 4, and I only have 1 sister. It's only 2 girls in family, my sister and my cousin. But I feel like my mom, but I understand it. like she overprotects and goes hard for my sister, but I feel like as the youngest, people say the youngest,
Usually
you
they
get
do that with the
spoiled,
boys,
you
which is
get
weird.
spoiled this, but
Yeah.
no, I feel like more time I'm on my own, honestly. Like seriously, like
That means she expects you to be a man,
yeah,
which is kind of good.
which is good, but at the same time, sometimes you do want the reassurance. Like
But over coddling creates sassy.
I agree.
I was
Over
gonna
coddling
say-
creates sassy.
But why can't he want his mom?
It's nothing wrong with that, but his mom may realize that in order for him to be the man, he's gonna have to bump his head. And,
Yeah,
and I hate to say this, a man has to bump his head to learn his own strengths. If a man hasn't bumped his head and hit the ground, he doesn't know his own strengths.
Were you ever coddled by your mom, Q?
No. I bought my first car by myself 16. I had more money than my mom by the time I was 16 years old. I grew up rough, hard, street. But again, the boy has to bump his head in order to see his own strengths. Like, for instance, my son right now, I let him bump his knees and scrape himself up. And my rule is, I'll give you a quick analogy. One guy asked me, if your son fell into a lion's den, what would you do? I said, I'm going to see what he's going to do first. If my son sits there and let the lion chew on him, I'm not jumping in there. He said, that's crazy. I said, no. I said, if my son fights back, we'll die together.
You're not jumping in there
No.
to save your son?
If he's-
Let him get ate by
Oh,
the
that's
lion.
Listen to what I said to you. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
jumping in.
Look.
I'm
Stay with me.
jumping in.
Stay
We
with
both
me.
get ate up by
That's it.
If your child, if your son falls into a lion's den, right? He's the one getting bit, right?
Okay.
My son is not a baby. He's a man. If my son chooses to get lay there and be nibbled on by a lion,
It's a
and not trying
lion,
to
Q.
listen what I'm saying to you. The two of us fighting together, we have a better chance of winning. But the chances of me jumping in and him laying there, I'm gonna die too.
So you wouldn't die for your son?
It's not the point. The point is the fact that you don't even have the heart to fight for yourself. If I gotta defend you today, I'm gonna have to defend you for life. You won't even fight. I don't care if my son lose a fight. But if he fights back, I'm gonna die with him. But if you won't fight, I'm not fighting for you. And that's the problem. My mom would lock the door if you running from a fight. My mother, and she gonna watch it out the window. And you know why she gonna do that? Because of the fact that she wants you to, if you lose, what I tell you all the time, I don't give a damn if you lose, but you better fight. You better not run from nothing. Win, lose, or draw, we stand there like men. That's what these guys don't have in them no more. They don't have it in them. Like, again, I'm jumping in there for him. If he's fighting, I'm like, we can die with honor together. But if you lay there and just allow it to happen to you, and the people that don't understand that, that's why you're not creating men. You're creating, and it's only an analogy of a lion. But in reality, we're talking about even in life, people do that with their boys. Right. Your son has no backbone, no spine. He whines because he didn't get the burger he wanted. He has lettuce on my burger. Take it off. But again, come here, bring it to me. Let me take off the lettuce. Now you date him. You gotta deal with that. Raise a man once, you ain't gotta raise him twice.
So you think a lot of mothers are responsible for the lack of men that their sons
Hell
are?
yeah. But in the same breath, I'm being fair to them, is because a lot of them are empathetic because their dads are not there. So a lot of them feel guilty. I can only imagine how the guilt that's in them looking at like, damn, I gotta do this in this boy and I'm trying to protect him. I understand both sides. I was a single father for many, many years. To this day, I raised my son by myself. On top of it, my mom was a single mother of 6. So I know both sides of the coin. So sometimes when women be like, I'm a single mother, I'm like, I was a single father for years. I come from a single mother. Right. So I know it from a personal experience, right, and I know it from my mother's experience. I seen both sides. But I do believe that women overprotect their sons when your son needs to ride that bike and fall.
But I think that's
when he fall, do this though. When he fall, look away.
It's hard for
you know what he's looking for? You know what he gonna start looking for? He gonna look for you to say, "Are you okay?"
But that's what most mothers do.
Don't
we
do
gotta
it.
do it. It's
look,
hard.
So when he falls, look away.
Ladies, come on.
Walk away. Walk away. Yes.
It's hard. It's hard to do that to your kids. It's
Yo,
hard.
look, these bruises.
Hard.
These bruises that you see, and I can show you more, that's what made a man.
But you're a man saying that. When it's a woman, it's hard. There's something called a maternal instinct. It's something, there are hormones released when you have a baby that keeps that mother clinging to that child and that child clinging to that mother. That's just a fact. And I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying there is something about if I'm seeing my 3-year-old ride a bike and he falls, immediately, my instincts, natural instincts are to run over to him and pick him up.
Tell him you're going to be all right. Shake it off.
It's just
you
a mother
ever fell off a bike?
instinct. Of course.
And what happened?
Well, my daddy taught me, so
When you fell off a bike, what happened though?
What you mean? I got up.
You still here?
Yeah, of course.
He gonna still be here. And guess what? He's gonna get better at riding that bike. Because not only are you're taking away the confidence from this young man, because the fact that he can get back up and do it again, he's building his own confidence. Look at what I'm saying to you. When you take away that him getting back up on that bike, he's not building his own confidence. Him falling and having the willingness to get back up, you're building a man when things get hard, he'll get back up and fight. You're building it from that young age. But if you protect him, he's gonna look for his girlfriend to do the same thing.
But I don't think that not showing your kids softness all the time creates a sassy man. I think sometimes, I mean, you've said it, that a lot of times men don't have a space to be emotional. Because sometimes when you're so hard on them,
See what he do first. See what he do first. See what he do first.
I mean, I'm taking a lesson.
You ever see a kid look around looking for somebody that look for them so they can start crying? You ever see that?
Of
you ever see a
course,
kid
that's what
fall
most kids
and they
do.
look around for somebody to cry? My daughter the other day, you see her lip. What's her lip? You know what I did?
You ain't
But
grab
see,
her up?
she's a
No.
little girl though. Why she gotta fight the lion?
It's not about her fighting. It's about showing her that life has bumps, hiccups, and it's painful if you make poor decisions. So you're gonna have to learn how to lick your own wounds. The problem is you have a group of the world looking for people to lick their wounds. They don't know how to lick their own wounds. The whole world today is want everyone to lick their wounds. They don't know how to lick their own wounds. They look for everybody and anybody that's gonna, oh, you okay? Yo, you go into a store, you have a woman screaming, automatically assume something is wrong. Yo, shorty, what's up with you? Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just exaggerating because you know if you cry wolf, guess what? Everybody's gonna come running. There's a bunch of dudes in jail right now for things that they didn't do to women because of the fact that she cried wolf. And the world is always protecting her because of the fact that she's always right. Nah, you got to show me what's up with this situation. I need to know to his totality.
Don't agree with Q, but when I do, I do. I will say this. Raising boys, my soon-to-be 13-year-old son and my soon-to-be 9-year-old son, that theory really does apply. When I had my first son, he was a brat. There was nothing that you could tell me not to give him, not to do for him, because I was going to do whatever. I didn't care what you said. And it backfired because I created a monster.
Yep.
With my second one, he is just so much more resilient, so much tougher because he didn't get that. Are you okay? Are you this? He got on that bike. He fell. He was outside. Mom, I just fell off my bike. Okay, go. You know, by the second one, you only really, whatever.
100%.
And he just kind of he's self-taught in so many ways and he's just so much stronger. You know what I mean? You don't know my kids' Q, but Myra knows my kids, and she could tell the difference. You have one that's just a lot more emotional, and one that's just like no F's given.
I've heard that you said it before.
No F's given. You know, my second one, it's just you could put him in a lion's den, and he's gonna be like, "Mom, don't even come in here. I got this."
But you want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy?
He like, "Don't even come in here. I got this."
I'm gonna be honest with you. Someone wrote, and I'm only reading this comment because it applies to what we're saying, right? Someone asked me, would I let my daughter fight the lion? No, I'm raising my daughter where she'll jump in the ring with her man and fight that lion. I'm not raising my daughter to go hide under a bed while her man is fighting the danger that's their whole family is in. Because he's not only in danger, your whole goddamn family's in danger. So I'm raising my daughter, yo, you go help that man. That's how I'm raising her. I'm not raising my daughter to overvalue money. I'm raising my daughter to overvalue respect. I'm raising my daughter to overvalue integrity. I'm raising my daughter to overvalue a man that's gonna be there no matter what. That's a man I'm gonna love. I'm gonna love a man that's gonna look at my daughter and say, you know what? I'm here whether things good, bad, or indifferent, I'm riding with you. And I want my daughter standing on the front line with her man like, yes, I'm riding with you too. So when I'm not raising my daughter to be scared of the lion, I'm raising her so she'll help him defend against the lion. Because two is always better than one. It's just what it is. And that's how I'm raising my son, where if you see your woman is in danger, yo, jump in that ring and help her. But in the same breath, you shouldn't be, you're in danger. You should be wanting to protect yourself more than the person that's not in danger.
All right.
You're the one that's in danger. Right? Life is about sinking and swimming. A lot of times we sink because we're looking for somebody to swim for us.
Right.
And if a person don't realize it or learn how to swim, they're gonna always look for somebody to swim for them. And that's what you're seeing a bunch of people. Like for instance, most people want people that are financially secure, right? Because they're not willing to swim for themselves. I never looked at what a woman can give me. I looked at a woman that can help me build more. And when you look at a relationship like that, that is the healthiest aspect of a relationship. But when you're looking at what she has and what you don't have and what she has, you're really like a little selfish. You're selfish because me and my woman can build more than me building by myself.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. I think that's what black culture has lost. We started looking at what people had opposed to what we can do together.
Right.
I remember back in the days, I know couples will get into a physical altercation. And you break it up with the man, the woman gonna jump on you. That's the kind of woman I grew up with. Yeah. I swear, these women gonna hit you because you breaking up them fighting with their man. They can only fight with their man. You can't get involved in their stuff. I grew up in that generation.
So you think that most women are looking for men based on what they can do for them rather than what they can build together?
I think most women are looking for the answer sheet to the test of life opposed to studying to take the test. I think most women are sitting there every day looking for the cheat sheet to a relationship rather than saying the cheat sheet is, let me study and do the work and build this relationship that I project in my own head. You have more possibility of creating that opposed to finding that. That's like finding a needle in a goddamn haystack. And it's just a reality.
So you're saying like that ideal relationship that women are looking for is not attainable, but it can be built with your partner.
So it's obtainable, but it's not obtainable if you don't build it together. In most cases, let's just say hypothetically NBA, NFL, you're talking about max, let's say total teams, because everybody loves sports and athletes. Let's say all sports athletes is 10,000 total sports athletes.
Okay.
So that means only 10,000 women, let's just say some of them are gay. Let's even make it a low. Let's say 9,000.
Okay.
So that means 9,000, let's say they want all of them tall. Every one of them are not tall. So let's make it 7,000, right? That you want your man to be the star of the team. Let's bring it down to 5,000, right? Every time you put a standard, all you're doing is
eliminating.
Yes, you're eliminating yourself from being dateable. Because a lot of times you start saying it so much, you start believing that you're warranted it. Oh, I need a man that's this, I need a man. I'm like, that's why you haven't found a good man. Because that man, if he's willing to say, you know what, everything I built my whole life, I'm willing to put it on the table for you. And I'm willing to put my life on the line for you. That's a hell of a man right there. That's a hell of a man. A hell of a man.
So if we're saying that women have those standards, what about men? So men don't have any standards? You just date anybody?
I think men do have standards.
Respect is all?
Men usually, it says a lot about a man if a man will leave a millionaire woman for a woman that works at McDonald's because of respect. It says a lot. In most cases, more men would. The only man that won't leave a woman that is disrespectful to him is a man that's either A, extremely broken and insecure. He's broken. Something happened to him traumatically where he feels a trauma bond with this woman to the point where he's scared to walk away. It hurts him too much to walk away. So he'd rather stay. So he doesn't internalize the words. He doesn't internalize her action anymore. He internalized, long as she keeps coming back to me. Every woman that's a woman that wasn't a good mother to their children. Every man wasn't a good man. It's sad that we can always bring up the fact that men aren't good fathers, but we never exploit the fact that there are a lot of men and women who grow up with bad mothers. We never talk about that. There are a lot of mothers who were hurt from our bad fathers, and guess what they did? They bled on us, right? And then therefore, guess what we do? We become the adults who do what? Bleed on others. That's why I said 9 out of 10 things starts with the way a person is from internal. It's just what it is. You can see it in real time when you talk to people. I'm like, you have issues from your mom. Your mom made you not be, a lot of women aren't dateable because of their single mothers. And then on top of it, a lot of women aren't dateable because of their single friends. A lot of women aren't dateable because of their single mothers, and a lot of women aren't dateable because of their single friends. If I sit there and say to you right now, you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang out with millionaires, right? You'll say, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
So why the hell are you hanging out with a bunch of single people thinking you go be married? How come it works from whatever you want it to work from, but it don't work from total? I use logic when I speak. Most people, if you want a healthy relationship, you got to be around a healthy relationship. There are relationships, every good couple that's been in a relationship long term have thought about leaving each other on a multitude of times. But what made that relationship feasible and still continuously work today, it was 2 people who wasn't willing to give the fuck up. Excuse my language. They weren't willing to give up. Every healthy relationship is 2 people who just wasn't willing to give up. And nowadays, when you sit down and evaluate it, a lot of times people want healthy relationships, but it's 2 people who are just willing to give up. If you want a healthy relationship long term, you gotta have that in you. I'm not giving up no matter what.
I don't know if that's true though, Q. Not giving up no matter
Sit with any
what.
married couple. Sit with any married couple. They're
No
gonna say
matter
yes.
what though? So you just taking anything and
You
it's just,
you know what I mean.
there's
Everything is within reason.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to be a fool. I'm not telling you to take beatings and I'm not talking like that. So when we talk, make sure y'all have a reasoning. There are reasonings for separation.
Okay.
There are reasoning. But if we crying about money, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think money should be the least requirement of you leaving a person. When you look at lack of respect, it's not cheating. I mean, it's not the money, excuse me. Cheating is a lack of respect. Because that means I don't honor what we have. Especially when we went before God and pledged our vows to each other. Cheating could also be entertaining someone's attention. Because that's something you don't want your mate to know. So therefore you're cheating, right? Because when you become one, everything is on the table. But when you realize that, why would God bless you with someone new when you weren't good to the person that he blessed you with already?
I agree with that.
And that's the reality. A lot of men, oh, these girls ain't good. I'm like, because you're not good. A lot of these women aren't good. They say these men aren't good because they're not good. A lot of people overvalue themselves. They think they're better than what they actually are. And that's why you see a lot of people who can't find good people. You go to church, you know what you're looking for? The finest guy in the church. You're not looking for the guy that is the most God-fearing, loyal, with integrity, morals, driven, and focused on God more than he is on you. You're looking for the finest guy in the goddamn church. Who's the problem?
Yeah.
People got to be able to close their eyes and be attracted to who the person is. Because you see a person completely different when you close your eyes. Don't let that go over your head.
Whoop-de-doo.
Wow.
He was a reader, guys. I read a lot. I study a lot. I don't come on here and just freestyle. I study a lot. You start learning that people don't look the same when you start closing your eyes talking to them. I promise you. Once you can control your you know, the other day that somebody said to me, they said, I did a video that said women power is their mouth, men's power is their thinking, their head. And the woman said, I don't agree with that. I said, then why did God give women 2 lips? And gave a man what? 2 heads. God has given men 2 heads. We have 2 heads. Y'all got 2 lips. Y'all power is your mouth. Our power is our head. A lot of men, they use their bottom head more than their top head. You understand? You have men right now who engage in sex knowing they have no intentions or anything with a woman that they could have had a great friend with.
Right.
And you're going to mess up a great friendship because you're thinking with what? Your bottom head. And there are a lot of women who can't control their lips, both top and bottom. They can't control them. When a woman can't control her bottom lips, that ain't no woman.
Yeah.
That's a Jezebel.
Not a Jezebel.
That's a whole Jezebel. It's just reality. God gave women 2 lips for a reason. He gave men 2 heads for a reason. And a lot of men don't learn how to control their bottom head, and a lot of women don't know how to control their lips. God is sarcastic too.
Do you believe in that saying where I'm seeing it a lot more where they say, you have a lot of women saying it on social media, that women need to just understand that men are not meant to be monogamous. I'm seeing that a lot, so I'm just asking.
Let me answer
men.
that first. Let me answer that first.
Someone
Good
just
one.
said
Let me
that?
answer this real quick. Oh, you asked that?
Yeah. Monty said, why do men think polygamy is the right thing to do?
Polygamy is right. Stay with me. Is right
Take my
if they told you
glasses
this and you agree to it.
Okay.
See how your faces change? Polygamy is right when you brought it to the person's attention and you gave the option to say no.
Okay.
You don't just spring something up on somebody
Right.
after you made them fall in love with you.
Right.
Right.
That is a misrepresentation of you.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Polygamy is okay if I say, yo, this is how I live. And you say, okay.
But you know most men ain't doing it.
Therefore, he shouldn't be doing it. Then he
And
shouldn't
do
be
you
doing
think
it.
that most men, if they could, they would have multiple women?
Yes.
If polygamy was a thing, like
Yes.
it was more common, most men would
I
take
think
that.
so.
Would take
I
that
think so.
opportunity. To
I think
have
so. But I do
more
believe
than
that if you're a polygamist, you better have your finances all the way in
one.
order.
Oh, you better.
I don't think you should be polygamous talking about you're badly struggling more in a relationship. I don't think
Right.
that makes sense.
Right.
So when a guy tells me he's polygamous, I'm like, make sure your finances match that you can take care. Because even when you say, even the Quran, the Torah, the Bible rather, I mean the Muslim culture, you have to financially be secure that you can treat them both equally financially.
Right.
So when you hear men say it, I'm like, you're picking and choosing what applies If you can only afford one relationship and that relationship is going to suffer if you take on another relationship, I don't think you should be entertaining
Like
other
saying
relationships.
cheating is a rich man's sport.
It is a rich
They say.
man's sport. It is a rich man's sport. And I do believe that most women that date rich men get cheated on the most. He has the ability to, he has the time to, and he can travel anywhere he wants at any time to do it. He has the access and he has the options. More women give men credit than they deserve. A lot of men, you have more men that don't get sex to the magnitude of what you believe they do. A lot of men don't get attention the way they do. 20% of men get all the attention because every woman is lining up for the same exact men. 100%, 100%. The guys that are good guys, they don't get the attention because, again, women look at a lot of the wrong things when it comes to finding a good guy.
So I have a friend, kind of off topic, but, you know, in addition to what you're saying about sex, that he said that in his marriage, he's lucky if they have
Don't mix up cups.
sex twice a month.
What?
Do you think that sex, I mean, I think we've had this discussion before, but do you feel like sex is a very, very big part of a relationship and marriage? Do you feel as though that can make or break a marriage,
Yes.
the lack of sex?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. If a woman don't want to have sex with you because she ain't enjoyed it, so brother, that she's not sleeping with only once or twice a month is because she's not enjoying herself with you. Because women have the same urges as a man has, they just have better self-control than us. If a man is knocking her boots off, she gonna want sex. And
boots off.
I'm being honest.
Whose
If
sex
a
drive
man,
is higher as we get older?
I do believe it's a woman.
Women.
Really?
100%.
Women.
It's 100% women.
It's us.
When y'all start menopause, it even gets
He
worse.
said just bring the bottle.
When y'all go through menopause, y'all even get worse.
I like Dasani. She cool.
But truth be told, that's my girl. But truth be told, when a man and a woman, if a man can't sit down and acknowledge that my woman isn't sleeping with me because maybe physically she's also not attracted to you, maybe you're not giving her the pleasure and it's all about you, right? You're selfish in bed. When I say selfish, maybe you're not lasting long enough. Right? So when you have these conversations, like I said, I'm fair across the board. When a man can sit down and understand how you guys think, it's easier to fix yourself. But a lot of times you have to be comfortable with hearing truth for you to fix yourself. But if
You sue. Myra, me and you talk about this. A lot of men have sex for them. When
Yes.
I agree.
you're having sex with your significant
Yes.
other and you're having sex for you, that is not
Yes.
sex.
No.
You need to have sex.
that's why y'all feel like it's a job.
You need to have sex for her. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I'm not for both of you. Let me not say
Right.
for both
It's
of you.
mutual
but a lot
pleasure.
of men are having sex so they can get off.
100%.
They don't care about the woman. And if you're not taking time with her body, how to know her body, how to just, you know what I'm saying? To get all those parts and the, then
Can I say something real fast?
don't be mad when she
What?
don't
Can I
have
say
sex
something?
with you.
Go
I'm
ahead,
just saying.
Q.
Can I say something?
Then
And I'm being honest with
then
you.
I'ma
Because
say
they be on
something.
top of you.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
And
I'ma
then
say
it's
something.
over. And then you're like,
But a woman's biggest orgasm that she could ever has is when you simulate this.
That's right.
The body is
fact.
one thing, bro.
That's a fact.
If I can stimulate this,
that's a
her
fact.
body belongs to me.
That's
That's
right.
a fact.
I own it.
That's right.
That's what dudes don't understand. When you talking this level up talk, you got to understand how to deal with your woman, how to make your woman feel too. Because again, if you're not
Thanks,
mentally
y'all.
stimulating her, there is no way you're physically stimulating
Yes.
her.
Right.
Because a woman has to be put into a mood to get to the point where she feels that level of comfort.
Right.
For instance, a woman can be nasty as hell with me and conservative as hell with you and love you more. But she's more comfortable with me sexually because I tear that behind up. And I treat her like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and I'm gonna say this on record, we ain't gonna go too
Not
nasty,
behind.
but I'm gonna give y'all a gem. Just every woman that you see that walks earth, they have a hoe in them. I hope y'all listening good. Every woman has a hoe. Hoe. Every single woman. It takes the right man to bring the hoe out of them. Every single woman has a hoe in them, and it takes the right man to bring the hoe out of them. And if a man can't bring the hoe out of his woman, he ain't no goddamn man. I'm telling you, every one of them, for the right man, will go crazy. I promise you. And if you don't know that about women, then you don't know women. Then you don't know women. Any man that doesn't understand that, oh, my girl she don't like doing that with you. But with him, cooking a big pot of soup today.
All right, now I'm gonna say something. We let
That's a
Q say
fact,
something
though.
in regards to
Tell the
that.
truth.
That's a fact.
Women, I said this before,
Oh, what is
maybe
it? It's all
another
right.
time we were on. Stop just letting these men get on top of you doing whatever. Start vocalizing and
100%,
communicating what you like.
What you like and don't.
We it's the stigma. Like, women are so scared to communicate and say, not right there, right there. Oh, go right there like this. Nope, I don't like it like this. I like it like this. Start telling these men what you want,
100%.
how you want
She's right.
it, and they will listen. Stop being scared. Bring out the things, whatever you like. Bring it all out.
That's a fact.
Enjoy your partner. Let him enjoy you. So when Shay said men like to have sex for them, that's because the woman is allowing that to happen. You have to train that man to know your body.
I tell the truth. Every woman, see, when I talk honest. Every woman want to get smothered out in the bedroom. They all want it. The better you, listen, just keep it real with you. The more classy the woman is, the more nasty the woman is. The more classy she is, the more nasty she is. I promise you, the more, yo, in my heyday, I was outside. I didn't wake up popular. I was always popular. I was always him. And I promise you, the nastier the nastier is, the more classy she is.
That's true.
That woman that walks around and have a little two-piece suit on, and she got oh my God, get in the bedroom. Who the hell is this?
She boring.
She gonna scare you. It ain't even just corporate. It's the woman that carries herself with class.
Yeah.
She is nasty. I promise you. She's nasty. And the fact of the matter is, in your mind, you have to be able to differentiate her in the bedroom and her in the streets. What she do in that bedroom, she should not feel like as a judge gonna be judged on her. And what you got going in, no, she ain't doing no weirdo stuff. We know, you know what we're talking about.
Right.
Men,
what's weirdo
Men
stuff,
shouldn't be letting no woman play with your booty. We talking straight.
I agree.
Like, come on.
I agree with
but
that.
But I'm just telling you, as a man, if you don't let your woman feel like when I go into this bedroom, this is safe.
Y'all crazy.
Your woman will never feel comfortable with you.
I don't know though, because there's a lot of females out here saying that y'all men be liking butt play. I've never done it. I'll never do it.
That sounds crazy.
They're saying that
There's
these
some
men
guys.
are liking
Some women, some people exaggerate though.
Tongues. They're saying that y'all men be liking these things out here. I don't know.
Well, to each his own, but I'm not into that. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
But again,
that's wild.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to get mad.
No trick daddy over here.
That's OD.
I'm saying. So what do men consider a nasty woman? Are there limits in the bedroom? No, I'm saying seriously, because some people have limits.
Spitting on everything. Wow.
Not getting spit on.
Nasty.
I don't think there should be limits in the bedroom. Like I said, there should be certain things that it's like we gonna have a little boundaries. We're gonna set some rules.
Like, whoa.
But I think when it comes to the
what Kevin Hart said? Say what? When you is it a little too much? Pineapples.
Right? Yeah, you gotta have a safe word, but I think that
Pineapples.
in the bedroom, there should be when you're with your partner and there should be no limits. Nothing should be off limits, and it's an exploration.
Right.
And then you gotta spice it up, guys. I'm gonna tell you something. Me personally, normally I don't do this conversation, but I'm doing it today. I like to take my girl somewhere and do it in public.
Oh.
Yeah.
Public.
What?
I will say
That's
this
mine.
though.
If I'm gonna tell you, if what belongs to me belongs to me.
To that.
No.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, you intensify her rush. Women are so emotionally based that you have to intensify the sex for them to enjoy it.
But when you say public, what you mean you like where?
You know what I mean.
Public.
Like,
We ain't gonna go there. My
public?
secret spots is my secret spots.
Public, like.
But I'm just saying, but reality is, as a woman, you have to intensify her sex to make it more thrilling.
Right.
If you can't get here, you're not gonna get here.
Right.
It's not gonna be fun for her. Park is perfect. I'm saying?
Park.
Yes, middle of the night. Do you.
Yeah.
Have fun with her.
Yeah.
Because again, every woman, I said this again, has a whore in them that they want their man to bring out of them. Right. If your woman is too conservative in the bedroom, I promise you she wasn't always like that. She probably adjusted to the fact that you're insecure in the bedroom.
Right. Right.
Some men are scared to walk around naked in front of their girls.
Right.
How you scared to let walk around in front of your woman naked? Right. Some women are nervous to walk around naked in front of their men.
Right.
Because again, maybe you're too judgmental. Maybe you're making her feel too uncomfortable. Right. And that's a reality. You got to realize that women do not operate on the same frequency we do when it comes to sex. A man can jump ready for sex.
Right.
A woman has to be stimulated. The more you can stimulate her mind, the more you can stimulate her body. It's just what it is.
It's not just our mind, but I don't think some men realize, like me and Myra always say, because we're always talking before these podcasts, how important foreplay is. Like, I think a lot of men just feel like you want to just get straight to it. But I think foreplay is what You said trash?
You talking about what you saying is
foreplay
it's
is
trash.
so
if you don't
important.
stimulate
It's so
your woman.
important.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
it's very, very
important.
important.
Especially
And
if she ain't
it's
gonna get off doing it
it's
to her.
what gets the woman to that point where now she, you know what I'm saying? Now you
100%.
get her to do whatever. That
100%.
foreplay is everything. Like, don't just be hopping on nobody. It's your little two-pump chump thing.
And that's why a lot of these girls don't want to sleep with these guys. And then you call a guy what he want. And a lot of times you say, oh, that person cheated because they cheated because physically they wasn't being satisfied.
Right.
Yo, there's multiple ways of satisfying a human. You have emotional satisfaction. You have a financial satisfaction. You also have sexual satisfaction in a relationship that you have to meet. You have to understand that a lot of you guys get your behinds in the gym.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you something. You get stronger and you get, you know what I'm saying, after 30, remember, your testosterone levels start going down. So if a man ain't in the gym, he talk about, I'm an ox, he lying to himself.
Right.
And the more weight you carry, the less stamina that you have.
Right.
It's just what it is.
Right.
See, I carry a lot of mass because I like to carry. Y'all know what I mean.
There we go.
How did you
Pull it.
go this way?
Pull
I
it.
started
Pull it.
with the,
We pick her up.
I took it there.
Pick her up.
I took it there, yeah.
Girls like that, man.
They
Come
do.
on, fam.
You said Batman?
They like to be picked up.
You sound like
Come on.
Batman?
Catch her here.
I'm
Big hands. Catch her here.
I am screaming.
Show her what the situation's about. But I say, like, men and women, y'all gotta understand that we think different. And y'all gotta understand if you love your woman, you have to understand, like, don't try to have sex with her unless you're ready to bring it. Don't bring, unless he's a quickie and y'all know this is a quickie. If it's a quickie, it's a quickie. But at the end of the day, you can't not please your woman consistently and expect her to be happy.
I agree with that.
You can't, because I pay for it. Like, that means it's a transactional thing. I'm gonna be honest, the only man that have a hard time getting sex is the man that ain't giving good sex. Or he in the doghouse. He done did some bull. But for the most part, if a woman genuinely into her man, she wants to satisfy you. I promise you. I promise you.
That's true.
Yeah.
When she don't want to satisfy you, it's because
true.
she's not satisfied. She's not happy. 9 out of 10 times your house is a reflection of how your woman feels. If you walk around the house and it's nasty energy, it's because there's nasty energy with the woman. I promise you. The man, we set the tone how a woman feel, bro. We got to realize that. They're emotional. As the logic, you have to balance her out. If you're not balancing her out, you're not thinking logical. If you're expecting an emotional person to be the logic, then you're a fool. You already lost the battle of a relationship. You have to be the balance.
The gutter world said I
saying?
stay in the doghouse.
What they do?
Oh. Oh,
But
my
yeah,
God.
women just, pardon me, be more vocal. That's it.
Yeah, tell them.
What you want.
And if you don't
in
like
your
it, then it
life.
ain't for you.
And men, stop being scared of certain enhancements that, you know, maybe
that mean?
an enhancement, maybe like, no, we're not talking about that. Maybe we're talking about like, trying to be politically correct here. Toys, tools,
Okay.
tools. I like that.
Okay.
Tools.
Okay.
Let's be a little more open to
I'm limited with
tools
those.
and things.
I'm
Most
still
men
old school.
are. They're so when it comes to toys and tools, they're like, oh no, I don't want to.
Give my girl
you
a
don't
rose.
understand how
Hey, do you?
much it enhances and intensifies things, especially when it can be a joint effort.
100%.
Because those things are meant to be used solo, but sometimes that's not fun.
100%.
So with your partner, it can really intensify things. So men have try to at least have a little more of an open mind when it comes to those things.
And I
It's
agree.
very pleasurable to
I
your
agree.
woman.
I agree. So may I ask you a question? What was the topic today, Tyler? See if you remember. What defines a man?
What defines a man?
So I'm asking you, I think when you wow your woman sexually also, that defines a man too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Being in a relationship, y'all gotta understand, like, a man has to be very logical. And if he's not logical, that means he's overly emotional. And that's the difference of you have in today's society, so many men that are emotional because they're not willing to learn. I'm gonna use my young guy, and I ain't gonna say his name. No, you know what, Tyler? I've watched Tyler come full circle more of a man because he's around what? A man every day. And I hold him very accountable, right? I don't let him get away with nothing. And when he starts to complain, I'm on you, right? To the point where he don't do it no more. But again, in order to learn it, he had to be comfortable enough to keep going around it. He chose to keep coming around me. So therefore, it helped him. If I got to tread lightly around a man, I'm not around a man.
Right.
I'm around a boy. If I can't say, yo, bro, you wildin'. You got to fix this. Correct this. Be mindful, right? We're the ones going here. We got to be mindful. When you hear people pull for your feet. So you got to be mindful of how you behave while we going here.
Right.
because people gonna be pulling for us all day. I get trolls, everything. But I have to be mindful of, I'm jeopardizing all our situation with my behavior. So it's not that I'm a sucker or I'm soft, I got something to lose. Right. And we gotta keep thinking like that. Remember, my mom lives off of me. I put my mom up. So I gotta be mindful, like, yo, you're not just jeopardizing your situation, you're jeopardizing everybody's situation. And you're also jeopardizing the future person that you're gonna become. Right. You can hurt them today with a poor decision today. Today can affect your future self if you're not thinking logical. So I think that's what we got to get back to, more men thinking logical. Like you can see by some of the comments, not today in particular, but the other days, the men that be with their little sassy comments. I'm like, yo, you can tell your father and mother did a bad job with you. Because once you start calling names, you already know that you insecure as hell.
Right.
Me, this is me. Let's get something straight, guys. I want y'all to hear this. This is my sister. This is my sister. We have these conversations, but we love each other. Off camera, we the best of friends. We do this because we just want y'all to understand that there are multiple lenses and multiple ways to think and still respecting each other's beliefs and understanding. It's not about a man battle or a woman's battle. They're healthy conversations that need to be had more, right? And that's what we're having, healthy conversations, whether her lens, whether my lens, we listen to each other. More men and women need to get to that point where they're comfortable with hearing another person's lens, opposed to getting upset and getting offended. Otherwise, you can't learn. You can't learn. So guys, what do y'all think as a man?
Just adding to what you said, you know, integrity, how he stimulates your mind, how he takes control in the bedroom, how he just shows up for me. You know what I mean? That to me defines a man. I don't think most women require, some women, I'm not going to say most, I don't think a lot of women require too much. I think that's just basic for you to just show up. It's how you show up for me.
You know, the other day I asked my son what's his favorite Jamaican record. You know what he said?
Was his favorite
My
Jamaican
daddy
room?
was a bedroom bully.
Oh my God, here we go. This guy, I can't.
Oh, but guys, we like to have fun up here, guys, and we like to do this with y'all because the whole goal is to help each other. One thing I love about this podcast is, guys, we have personable people that come on here each and every week, and they've said they've grown and learned so much from these constant conversations. When something offends you, a lot of times it's something you may need to work on. When something offends you, it's because it might be something you need to work on. Because the mirror don't look good when you've been avoiding it for so long. But when you look in the mirror, you're comfortable with hearing about yourself. You can call me whatever you want. You ain't gonna call me a sucker.
The mirror doesn't judge, it reflects.
It does. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
It doesn't judge, it reflects. So, yeah.
We're gonna take a couple questions before we get out of here today, because today we're gonna engage with y'all. Ask a couple questions before we get in. Where we at, Tyler, time-wise? Okay, okay. We did really good today.
We good.
Ask some question, guys.
Any questions today?
Any questions?
Let's see what we got.
When we read the questions, we're gonna say your name. So the people that, when we stream through, they can know who we're talking to, because it'd be weird.
And say where you from as well.
When are you coming?
We're going to the Bahamas. Me and Tyler be in the Bahamas on the 27th.
Janaya said, how long would you recommend getting to know someone?
And I'm gonna let you answer that first.
I don't know, Janaya, as long as it takes for you to feel comfortable. I don't think there's a time. Getting to know someone it's all subjective to you and that person. There's no time on it. When you feel
and one
comfortable.
thing about red flags is they show up real quick.
100%.
You just have to pay attention to them. So I say within like a month or two, that's not enough time to get to know someone, but you will start to see what kind of person they are, what kind of habits they are. If they're a consistent person, you could tell a lot in a month if they're consistent, if they're responsible. So it is very subjective.
A good one for you.
I just want to answer that to her. She said real fast, hold that comment right there.
Yeah,
Tyler.
I'm holding it, yeah.
I just want to say this. As a fatherly figure, I want my Janaya to understand, make sure by all means, someone don't make you and put you sexually on their timeline. Ladies, y'all have the control before sex. Stay with me, guys. If this man loves you, this man likes you, this man cares for you, your truest power is when you hold back sex.
Yep.
Especially in the beginning. The longer you hold back, the harder it will be for him to hide who he is.
Yep.
Because if his intentions is to get sex, you're gonna start seeing the sexual frustration coming out.
Yep.
He's gonna start showing you. So what I'm saying to you is, be mindful of what he's acting like in the beginning, because if he respects you, he won't overstep your boundaries and tell you like, oh, you're not a real woman if you ain't doing this. I don't wait for no woman. Then you not for me. You have to be comfortable enough to get into something as well as walking away from something. Yeah, Tyler.
Gotta underscore world says, does money define how much of a man you are or not?
I'm gonna answer that no. Gotta, to be honest with you, money is only a tool that we need to utilize to advance our lives. A lot of times I don't like talking about money because of the fact that me trying to earn money was for my family. God blesses those who blesses others and help others, right? The whole goal to make money is not because of bigging yourself up. The goal is to make money to help your family and friends and put everybody in a better position. So money do not define you. The woman that you're reaching for, you have to be mindful if she's defining you by money, then therefore you're actually defining, you're losing your own value. Because your integrity, your morals, and your principles as a man should stand before finances. I met guys that work at the cashier who are better than the managers at the job. I met people that work at they're pulling the carts who are literally more valuable psychologically than people that actually work in management. So reality is you have to understand who you are as a man. And if a person don't see you for who you are, then that person ain't for you.
Somebody named Moni, M-O-N-I-E, said it went a while ago, where she said, is it okay to have pictures of your ex hung up in your house? Absolutely not.
Hell no.
If you are not dating that person anymore, there should be no pictures. And
if you gotta ask that question, you're a little diabolical.
Then you need to leave, baby girl.
No, that's a little weird.
Heck no. Pictures of his ex?
Imagine me walking in your house and I'd be like, what's that? And you'd be like, that's my ex.
No. No,
you know what? This is a sexual encounter. This has officially just become a sexual encounter.
Yeah, there's
officially become a sexual encounter. You know something weird? Before sex, women know who they want to sleep with.
Dasani said, what if it's a father of your children? Well, it better be both. It be the kids and him in the picture.
Right, it better be a family photo.
If a family photo, why you got a family photo up still?
Yeah, but what's wrong with a picture of your child's father and the kids? I don't think that's a bad.
We ain't doing that. That's weird.
Why is that weird?
Why am I walking the house? The family photo could be in your child's room. He has a right to have that. She has a right to have that. But if I walk in on the mantle of the house and you got a family portrait, that means the family need to get back together.
Yeah. Yes, blocking a female narcissist's phone number will help protect your mental, emotional, and physical energy for sure.
Yes.
100%.
Anybody, 100%. Not just a narcissist,
you
anybody.
You got to learn how to
use that block button.
You have to learn to set boundaries and follow them.
100%.
Not just say you're setting boundaries, but follow them. If it is not good for you, you are allowed to eliminate anyone out of your life.
I want y'all to answer that one, though. They said, what is the advice for the younger generation?
Well, what is your advice for the younger generation?
Go ahead, Tyler. You're younger. What's your advice?
Advice for the younger generation.
As far as dating, let's say
as far as dating, know yourself first. I'll say that. As a man, build yourself up first. Don't chase women. Like, chase your purpose. Let things come to you. Attract abundance. Attract good things in your life. Put out good and you'll get back good as far as relationship wise. Work on yourself.
Know who you are first so you can know what you want.
And people, listen to me and listen to me very keenly. Go get tested. If you want to be with someone and you want to be with them exclusively, younger generation, go get tested together. Stay up on y'all STD panels.
Especially if you just came from Houston.
Especially if you just came from Houston for spring break. Because there's little things going around. And y'all got to be careful.
Don't do it.
Get yourself tested. Be safe first. That's what I recommend for the younger generation when it comes to dating, because y'all are very reckless.
Can I say something to them?
Yes.
To the younger generation, I want to say, especially young men, I want y'all to understand that men are measured based on what you've accomplished. So reality is, while you're younger and you're trying to build your life, I think you should focus on building your life before you jump into a relationship. A relationship comes with a lot of requirements and expectations. So before you get into a situation, you should put yourself in a position where you can afford and accommodate and complement that situation. Because you cannot complain about a woman having expectations when you're the one that's trying to date her. Because again, women determine sex. Men determine relationships. So if a man is getting into, after sex, a man takes power. A woman gives away her power when she has sex with you. So if you're choosing to be in a relationship, you should be in a position where you're not crying about buying her Valentine's Day gifts. You're not buying her birthday gifts. That comes with being in a relationship. Right. We just got to understand what it is. Women, a lot of times, their love language is gifts and attention.
Acts of service.
Acts of service. So you just got to understand, they don't choose it. That's just them. That's an emotional aspect of being a woman.
We didn't touch this, but can we touch this for a second? I'm also seeing, guys, what is the deal with these down low men? What's happening? We talked about this. What's happening with?
This is a conversation I'll step back. I don't know.
I don't know. On the DL, like, what is that even? What?
I will say this.
You're in a relationship with a woman, and you out here getting your little, you know what I'm saying, fingered. Like, what's going on?
Can I be fair?
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be fair.
What's happening?
Black culture needs to accept people for being in their sexual preference and just let them be who they are.
Right.
The reality is you would have less down low brothers if you weren't being ostracized and judged for being who you truly are.
Right.
I can respect anybody in their sexual, what they got going on sexually, as long as you're honest and you're living in your truth.
Living your truth.
I don't care. I'm not the gay police. I'm not riding around trying to search for who gay. I don't care. Yeah, you know that. I don't care. So, but reality is, black culture needs to mature and to the point where if that's a person and two consensual adults choose to be these people, God bless them. God bless them.
Want a man, but a lot of these men are in relationship with women, not disclosing that they like men. Now, I don't know if you men. I know some people think that women can be bisexual. Do you believe that a man could be bisexual?
No. I think today's society is more people are trisexual. They're willing to try anything sexual. That's what I believe. I believe people are trisexual. They're willing to try anything sexual. And that's the issue.
Someone said, I swear my ex was DL. I think it was the
But
prison
then she's
life.
right. That's how STDs are spread, Will. That's how, because you're not disclosing that.
Tyler.
I saw a study. It says it was talking about how like people who have like they're very promiscuous like at a young age, like or they experience a lot of like sexual encounters. They're hard to satisfy. So it's men like that.
It's true.
They didn't had too much. So it's like
too much.
their next step is like
Men and
they
women.
trying stuff.
Different.
Men and women. It's too much.
Myra and I know someone, we're not going to call any names or point any fingers,
Hope
that we
she's
worked
watching.
with. And he said, the topic of threesomes came up. I don't know, we were like, oh, would you ever have a threesome? And if you had a threesome, and we got to talking. And he said if he had a threesome with his girl and another man gave him oral sex, that did not make him gay.
That he's not gay.
It didn't make him gay.
And
it
we
was
were
just
very
in the moment.
confused.
That is the
But
young
again, that's the younger
Bible.
generation. He's early 20s. And he felt like, no, why would that make me gay? We're having a threesome. We're in our sexual,
That
experimenting.
is
And that's why I'm asking you guys
diabolical.
as men, like, where's the boundary? Like,
I
are
threw
we
up a
just
little
out
bit.
here exploring?
I threw up a little
He
bit.
said he threw up a little
I threw up a little bit.
That's what he said.
Nothing against
Lord.
this.
Y'all
Listen,
people.
that's crazy. But
That's
again,
what he said.
you know what? In today's society,
Someone said, that's crazy. Dasani.
I don't even know what to say about that. That to me, that's crazy.
Myra was there. Myra, is this
crazy.
a true story?
This is a true story. We were there.
We were
I
right
heard
there. He
it.
said if
He
another
said it.
man in a threesome gave him oral sex, that would not make him gay.
that doesn't make him
They were
gay.
in a-
I think what makes you gay is when you have a sexual encounter with a man.
The man said that ain't make him gay.
But I'm just saying, reality
In a
is,
nutshell, literally, right?
Reality
That's
is, look-
what it means.
if that floats your boat and that makes you happy, brother, God bless you. But I don't respect the men that
got
play
another
back
question?
both sides of the coin.
Go
When a
ahead.
person play both sides of the coin, whether male or female, you just greedy as hell. Like you just greedy. Choose one. God damn. You just greedy. Like if you like girls, if you like boys, but stop being greedy. God damn. Like come on.
Yeah.
Because there are women who don't want to go behind men that go to men. And there are men who don't want to go to women who go behind women. So reality is you got to know who you're dealing with. Like just
Do you think that encounter, though, a threesome in your relationship would break your relationship? Do you think that some people want to experiment in that way and it's normal? Or it's totally abnormal for you to want to bring someone else, whether male or female, into a relationship?
there's an artist by the name of PNB Rock. His #1 record was called Selfish. I'm selfish. I ain't sharing nothing.
Okay.
I think it's crazy when I gotta allow another man. That's crazy. It's crazy. But it's selfish on your end because it's not because of the fact that it's beneficial to you. That's a different scenario. But a lot of times, if a woman is doing it to accommodate you, that's selfish because you're put in a predicament that she doesn't want to really be in, but she's doing it for you.
Right.
And vice versa. If she put you in a situation, what if she wanted two guys? But the same thing, what is the difference between two men? Well, two girls.
So if your girl...
Men don't see it that way because we benefit from it.
If
So I wouldn't put my girl in that
asked for
position
it
either.
and said that's what she wants. And
That's
she's
a
like, I want
different
another
scenario.
girl.
That's a different scenario.
Look at him. Look at him.
That's a different scenario.
Look at him. Glasses
No, I
fogged
said
up
that's a
everything.
different scenario.
Glasses fogged up everything.
No, if your woman chooses that, you gave her an option. She chose it. I think what makes adulting is when two people consensually agree about something. When you can give somebody the ability to say no,
Right.
then you're being grown. But if you take that option from them, that's wrong. That's the guy that's behind closed doors sleeping with men who's not telling his woman the truth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not fair.
That's
Very selfish and narcissistic as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Well, This has been a very interesting show this time.
100%.
I will say.
Let's get like one or two questions before we get out of here today.
The visionary architect said, should a man get himself together before getting in a relationship? Should he know himself before getting in a relationship?
I think the more you become stable with yourself financially also, the more you respect yourself. I promise you, most men will not entertain the woman when they're at the bottom as when they're at the top. You know that? Most men, I promise you, they won't entertain the women at the top as they would when they're at the bottom. Most men will entertain women when they're at the bottom because they're at the bottom. Yes, and a lot of times those women are just pleasure. A man that's chasing pleasure is chasing financially broke. Failure.
Hey.
I'm saying?
I don't even know who that is. They said, what up, Shay? Somebody just wrote, did you see that?
Did you see
What
that?
is it?
Yeah, that was wild,
Did
right?
you?
What was
What
it?
you
What
mean
was it?
don't say that? That's legit. She said some men take it too far. She knew somebody who wanted a threesome with his son. That is crazy. But this is the world
That
we're
is
living
crazy.
in.
That's crazy.
This
is
Let's
the
not keep
world
talking about that
we're
one. That was
living in. People are
diabolical.
crazy.
If I knew that one, let's keep that one there. That's diabolical. I want to vomit.
Yeah.
Moni said, when a man and woman come out of a dysfunctional relationship, how long should they wait to date?
That's in totally up to the person and the time it takes them to heal.
You gotta heal
You got to heal.
until you can. You know when you can wake up and think about that person and you no longer feel any type of animosity. You have let everything go.
Yes.
That's when you're at a place to date. If you wake up and you still hear that person's name or see their face and you're angry and bitter, you're not ready.
So you can tell, like, once you go out with the girl that you're talking to, that should be a red flag for a lot of you guys and women. The red flag is when you go out with a person and y'all on your first date and they're talking about their ex.
Yep.
Yeah.
Red
That's
flag.
a red flag right there.
Red flag.
That's a whole red flag that 99% of people avoid. And they ignore it like it never happened. You just sat here on a 2-hour date and an hour and a half of it was about your ex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And y'all just having a pity party on who ex was the worst.
That's right.
Right there, that's toxic as hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll say something like, look, we had what we had, we moved on. I'm trying to get to know you.
That's it.
How am I learning you by talking about my ex? On top of it, you're giving the person an open book exam. In most cases, women, y'all telling us what your ex didn't do, and I know how to do it to get what I want from you.
Thank
Right.
you.
So y'all telling us what we easy.
Thank you.
Oh, he didn't take you out to, you know what you doing next week?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't call me. I'm calling every day. Are we going because you telling them. So
I'm
reality
just stop
is
talking about
learn
Applebee's.
each other.
We used to work there. Cut it out. That 2 for $20 ain't no joke. It's hard out here. Don't get it twisted. Want advertising 2 meal for $24? Let's get it.
Listen.
Don't do it.
But here's my next question. I'm gonna ask y'all both this question. To a young woman who's pursuing a serious relationship, what are some important things you think they should look for when they looking to date somebody or looking to get serious with somebody? What should they see, or what they should look for?
How he.
I'm gonna go
wants
back
to
and
know
forth.
your relationship with your
Okay.
family.
With your family, what you got? We're gonna go back and forth.
How he effectively problem solves.
How you problem solves?
Looking for when I'm dating someone. It's a deep thought because we went through so much. What makes a man? So I feel like it all goes back to the same
You can
thing.
say it again. You can say it again.
I want to know how he shows up for me.
How he shows up. I like
How
that
he
one.
shows up for me.
I need to know his manhood size.
Oh, Wood. What? Wow.
Okay.
What you got?
I'm keeping it 100.
If he has, how he is emotionally. Does he have emotional control?
Okay.
Does he know how to be financially responsible?
I like
Yes,
that.
finances.
I like that.
Finances for sure.
Y'all got some good ones.
Yeah, just like I said, just his integrity, how he shows up as a man, all of those, how he is with his family, how if he has children, how is his relationship with his kids, like overall, like nobody is perfect, but those are the little things that'll make or break. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Does
How
he follow
responds to
God?
stressful
Does he follow God?
Yes, is
Does he
God-fearing?
pray? Who said that? Leslie. Yes, Leslie.
I'm being
love
fair.
that
I'm being
one.
fair. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got to meet somebody and go through their phone, you shouldn't even entertain them. That means you got some kind of insecurities within yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, the phone will show on them.
Dasani said go through
No,
his
I'm being
phone.
honest. You don't got to go through a phone. You'll be able to see it. You can pay
Yeah.
attention to them. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Sneaky people are sneaky people.
Yeah.
A person that's a lie is a lie.
Yeah, I'm
you
not
you
going
can
for
only
nobody,
hide who you are but so long. I promise you, if you pay attention long enough, people can't hide who they are.
The
they
truth
cannot.
always comes
It
out.
always
guys.
comes out.
So when you looking,
Just stay
I don't
patient.
do that. I don't have no time. I remember one time I was younger. I done found myself hopping through somebody's window, y'all.
Yes. What?
I was looking. He was in the shower. I just took one of his cigarettes and climbed back out the window. I was like, nothing here to see. But I was young. That was back in the day. That was back in the day. I was very young.
6 months ago.
That was not 6 months ago, guys. That was like 20 years ago.
No, but I'm being honest with you. If I gotta search for something, that means you're either A, you unhealed, or B, you searching for something that you know that's already there.
Mr. Quickshot said, should a man let a woman dictate where they should go on the first date? That's been a big one circulating.
No,
What's
I
up
think
with this
Mr.
first date
Quickshot,
thing?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna
No,
keep
I'm
it.
serious. That would be happy,
Can I
y'all.
get this gym real quick? I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Men, this is how you date. You meet a woman. You tell her what days you have open. She says Saturday night. Saturday night, I'm gonna be at such and such between the hours of such and such. I would like you to join me there.
Okay.
If she is comfortable enough to meet you there, that means she's comfortable with being led. If she's rebelling, it's because she's not comfortable with being led. So from day one, you're seeing her ability to allow a man to lead. If in most cases, if she's like, no, I don't want to go there, well, then you don't have
What
to
if
be
I
there.
have food allergies?
Well, then figure out something on the
What
menu.
if I'm allergic to peanuts or
That's a
seafood?
different scenario, but in most cases, a man should establish leadership from day one.
Should couples share location and have each other's passwords? I
That's
think
that's
by
entirely up
choice.
to the couple. I feel the same way
That's
you
by
feel.
choice if you want to.
It's 50-50 because it could be for protection and safety.
Yeah.
It could be 50-50. That's not always because of insecurity. But if your girl is insecure, your man is insecure, hell no.
Yeah, I think
You know what I'm
that
saying?
all
That's sick.
depends.
That's sick. That's only another level of control. That's a layer of control. So it depends on the person. If y'all just the two people, let's say your man is on the road, he truck drives.
Yeah.
I think you should do something like that. You know what I'm saying? It depends.
See,
Sunflower
Sarah
yes.
said, baby, lead me. I miss my man who I didn't even have to think when I was around him. That's what I was telling
So
you
wait, what
last
she said,
week,
but
and
what
you
she
told
said,
me
she
I
missed him.
was childish.
Where is he, Sunflower? I just want to know, where is he? She said she missed him. Where is he? I'm not being funny. Where is he? Sometimes, I like the women that say something like, I wasn't mature enough to deal with it at that time. That's a woman that will find a better man. Because
Yeah,
some
but we
women
don't know why.
No, but some women won't admit their truth. I'm not
Yeah.
saying Sunflower, I'm just speaking in general. Some women won't say, I was immature. I was
Yeah, that's
wilding.
true.
I was disrespectful. I ran them away. There's a woman the other day, I forget her name, very big celebrity, black woman. She said the other day that she wished she knew what she knew now because she was taught to be toxic and horrible.
agree.
And then she ran away good men.
What
And
if
now
a
she's
woman
she can't
doesn't
find
want to
them.
give up control? Is she a dangerous woman?
100%. Run. Sit, run. Run. Because again, if she doesn't want to give up control, it's because she feels she's a better leader than you.
So you want a woman to completely give up all control?
No,
to
of
you?
course, within reason. Everything has within reason. There's always got to be a ledger of logic. It can't be follow a man blindly. He has no plan. He has no goals. He's just telling you, we're going to be rich one day. Man, you don't even know what the hell you want to do. Like, you sound crazy.
He said a man comfortable with late fees is a no-go. That's funny.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
That was
Mrs.
good.
Forever
That
in
was
the
good.
right. That's a good one. Not the late fees. Top red flags in women. Go ahead, Q.
Top red flags in a woman is a woman that takes her phone and always turn it over. That's one sign. I gave y'all a gym. When she takes that phone, every time y'all sit down, she turns over the phone. Secondly, is a woman that always posts but not show who she's with. Pay attention to that, right? She's with somebody. I don't care if you show my wrist, but show that you're with somebody. We're on vacation. You trying to act like you alone? Secondly,
Show
be
my
mindful
wrist.
of the women that always show their butts. You showing that butt for a reason. That's crazy. Don't get me wrong. If you're in the gym, you're working out, you know how that go. Listen, I'm gonna give that grace. But if you look at Instagram and all you see is butt, they got more butts than the kid in trouble.
I'm dead.
Butt. That's all you see. Like, you gotta, come on, we're using logic. Another one, I would say another red flag is a woman that's inconsistent. Women pick and choose who they answer their phone for. So if a woman tell you she's too busy, that means you're too busy for her. The moment she get too busy for you, you get too busy for her. Right? Match her energy. If you ain't matching her energy, then you're a fool. If a woman ain't consistent with me and showing me that I am the priority, she's not the priority, hands down. I'm not, I'd be busy all week. Listen, sister, just text back, get out of here. Get out of here.
And I think the same for women, ladies. Do not make yourself so accessible.
I agree.
Sometimes when they call, you can pick up that phone, look at it, and turn it over.
I disagree.
And you call back in an hour. Hey,
I disagree.
what's why?
Because you're gonna run them away.
Why?
You're playing kitty games.
I
never said that a man shouldn't answer the call.
Sometimes you got to make yourself too accessible.
Nah.
Sometimes just give
You
him
gotta let
something
him know
to,
that you're wholeheartedly interested.
So that you have to answer every time him call.
100%. If you're serious about him, if you're gonna treat him like the dude you don't want, why he gonna believe that he the guy you want? Especially a high value man. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I call once and you don't answer, I ain't calling you back until you call me.
His energy, exactly.
I hope you heard that though.
Mirror his, what?
If I call a girl once and she don't call me back, I promise you, I will never call her
We
again.
didn't say that call back. We said
But if I
sometimes
feel
you
like
gotta
it's
make yourself
always
so accessible.
gaps, I'm not gonna call her. I feel like you sneaky. You doing something you ain't got no business doing. It's like, why are we playing this good game? You could even hit me back, hey, I'm at the nail salon, I'll call you back. I respect that because you're making me a priority where you feel, and it's not control. It's showing that I care and my intentions are pure here, so I'm letting you know exactly what's up. And it should be both vice versa. The man should also, yeah, I'm with my son, I'll hit you back. I'm saying?
I'm noticing a weird thing in society though, as what you're saying to Shay, you like call back an hour. People are doing this thing. You can be texting somebody, they'll text you see the message, I'm gonna wait to 3 hours to respond to her. She waiting another 3 hours because we don't want to show each other that it's something weird. We don't want to show each other that we like each other. I don't know.
But
I think
feel like
society
when a
is doing
woman
that a lot.
It's because they
weird.
want somebody that's gonna chase them.
But y'all don't value women who are too available to y'all, though.
You don't got to be
A lot
available
of men
by
don't value
having
that.
correspondence. Having correspondence and being available is two different things.
So what do you define as too available?
Too easy. You easy. You can tell when a woman's just interested. We respect each other. We talking to each other. We giving each other consistent communication. Right? I shot you a text at 9 o'clock in the morning. You didn't text me back till 4 in the afternoon. Boof yourself. I'm done. Done. Yeah, boof your whole self.
Wild.
Because I promise you, especially when you sit with them, pay attention. If she always on her phone, that means she's ignoring you. If a man is always on his phone, he's ignoring you.
Right.
Because reality, if you sit with somebody and they always in their damn phone, and then magically they don't respond for hours.
They're ignoring you.
I'm busier than the average band, I still respond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Q
I'm
do
busier than the
respond
average
quick.
band, I still respond.
Q do respond.
I get tight. I ain't gonna hold you with my team. When y'all don't respond, I get tight.
Q will
Because I'm
respond.
like, I'm 10 times more busy than everybody. And I still respond. Because again, when I feel you don't, it's because I'm not a priority to you. Put them D&Ds on everybody else, but I ain't the D&D. I'm giving you that D. And you treat me with the D&D. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You know what? Can
Yeah, I over here. Twist off the Malibu.
Can we
Just
wrap
go.
this
Get out of here.
can we wrap it up?
Say that.
100%, because what it is everything with successful people is about consistency.
Oh no, Chi, dump him.
We
I'm
treat
talking to a guy,
people
he
the way
says
we
his
want to be
ringer
treated.
doesn't work. What you
we
mean
treat
your
people
ringer
the way.
don't work?
I mean, you should dump them. They can't
Yeah,
even afford a
it's a
phone.
wrap.
You shouldn't be dating if you can't
His
afford a phone.
ringer doesn't work.
Like, come on, your ringer don't work.
Yeah.
That means you shouldn't
No.
even date because you can't even afford a phone.
All right.
Yeah, they've created policies where you could pay $8 a month to get a new phone. Yo, they will add $8 to $10 a month on your bill for you to get a new phone. So reality is he playing games with you. Like, come on. If a woman's telling you, oh, my son was, you know what? You're right. You and your son keep that same energy. I'm good.
Dead. Not the son too.
I promise you, when a man becomes great, you gotta have standards. Ladies, I'm not telling you that play games with a man, because a lot of times you gotta gauge him. You don't want to come across as easy, but you don't want to come across as like you're too hard also.
Oh yeah, fix that, Chi. That whole ring ain't working. Mm-mm.
Braided Hair said, is it okay to date a guy who's never lived on his own? The man is 40.
Nope.
No.
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 No. Absolutely.
You know the crazy part?
Absolutely
Can I say
not.
this though?
Absolutely.
You know the
not.
crazy part? What's the name? What's the name?
Braided hair.
Brady here know the answer to that.
No.
You know the answer to that, Brady here.
40.
Wait, time out. But it's two. Let me give you an exception. There are men who mothers also need them
Right.
to stay in the house financially.
Right.
So, giving grace, there are situations where there are men that currently live with their parents or their moms or their dads, and they help each other out financially. So I've seen those situations also where the guy has his life together, correction officer, cop, all types of stuff.
Right.
But they live in their parents' house because their parents need them.
Right.
Well, that's different.
Right.
So
It's
so that's why I said you
circumstantial.
gotta gauge it.
It's
Right.
circumstantial.
You gotta gauge
If you just didn't move out on your own and you're 40,
Right, you
living in your
just
parents' house,
never been on
then
your
you should
own.
not have a roommate after a
No.
certain age. Like,
It depends.
because
Like
they
I
didn't
said,
specify parent. They just said not lived on his own. So it could be a roommate or whatever.
ain't nothing wrong with a roommate.
You know?
Until you buy your house, because in order to buy a house, you gotta live less. You can't go get the most expensive apartment and expect to buy a house. You got to get a cheap situation so you can save money so you can buy a situation. You don't want the luxury apartment that you've renting. You want the luxury house that you own. But in order to do that, you got to sacrifice. So guess what? Me and my girl gonna be in a single bedroom apartment, small space, until we build ourselves up.
Me and my girl, they're talking about
Our
like
studio
dating.
apartment. I'll take a studio apartment.
No.
Still save more.
They were saying in the dating, like a guy alone. Like you want
It
somebody
depends.
that.
It depends. You got to see a situation.
Yeah.
She said our first date, he booked the hotel at the restaurant we ate at.
Oh. For the first date? Like why did he feel that was okay to do?
Because he ain't gonna go home.
And did you braided hair? Did you go to the hotel and did you Did you do
go?
the nasty?
Did you go right in here?
Did you go?
How was the date?
Because what made you feel comfortable to book a hotel on our first date? What impression did I give you to think that was okay? Because
Somebody said he wanted sex. Of course.
But braided hair, my question for you is, what made him feel comfortable
right.
booking a hotel? Was
Somebody said the signs she gave before
that's
the
what I'm
date.
saying. What
They probably was talking sexual.
Right, was y'all speaking
Yeah.
sexual?
Somebody else said something good too. He has a wife.
braided hair
Could
said
be that too.
absolutely not. He said, "Come up and see the view."
Oh,
well,
police.
girl, did you? After all that?
Yeah, stop entertaining her because they braided hair know better. Braided hair,
Yeah.
you know better. You sound crazy right now.
Come up and see
Come on.
which view?
At the hotel.
Is there tips to dating while being chronically ill?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Tips to
I think you should work on getting yourself together
Getting
first.
yourself better first.
Yeah,
before
I don't
100%.
think if you're ill, you shouldn't be dating. That's the
100%.
least of your worries. You worry about
100%.
your health
Yeah.
first.
100%. And we saying that respectfully.
Yeah,
Respectfully.
Respectfully. You know, because it's rough to bring somebody in a situation where
Right.
They have to
Already-
take care of you.
100%.
Right. No, they have
Make
to take
sure
care
you're
of
at
you.
your best health.
We had no sex talk. We went to high school together. All right, so we could have talked at a restaurant. In the car. Why you
Like
wasn't
I
alone?
said, there are situations where men live with their parents that actually help them financially.
Right.
I know dudes that this is a situation today where more people should be helping their parents than ever because right now a lot of parents can't even afford to retire.
Right.
So, yeah.
So their children are their pensions and 401ks,
Right.
which is sad, but this is the economy we live in. We just have to adjust.
It's hard.
So again, if a person is a flunky living in his parents' house, you know what a flunky is.
Yeah.
Right? We know flunkies. You've seen flunkies that live with their parents.
Right.
And you see people that actually doing well. Go ahead.
Do sexless marriages last?
No.
No. No, they don't. No, absolutely not.
I wouldn't do it.
No.
If someone is sick, I can understand why you stand with somebody.
Right.
You know, you're sick. If things change where a person got sick, of course. If you don't have that level of empathy,
Thank
you
you-
marry
thank
that person
you,
for the wrong
Hustle
reasons.
Fam, 2
If you my
times.
wife and you get sick and I can't sleep with you, that's diabolical to be like, you mad whack because I can't sleep. Come on, fam.
Right.
Grow up. She's sick. Like, come on.
Right.
I do believe that over time we have to hold the person to what they've done. If things have changed for them so they can't do something. For instance, if a person always paid bills and they lose a job, that's not a bad man.
Right.
That's a
right.
man that just
Yeah.
unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
It happens. It's life.
I have sickle
You see?
cell, so I shouldn't be dating. No. That's not what we're saying. Because certain sicknesses are manageable. So if you have a sickness that is manageable, yes, absolutely. With your treatments, absolutely date. But this person
She
said
said
they were chronically ill.
That's different.
So that means
One.
they're consistently getting sick. So
And I'm gonna be
seriously,
honest.
no, B.
My sister passed away from sickle cell.
Oh, wow.
And sickle cell is where you could be in the hospital consistently.
Yeah.
My
niece has
sister used to
sickle
be in the
cell.
hospital for months at a time. If
my
there's 12
niece.
months in a year, she probably did at least 5 to 6 months a year in the hospital.
Yeah.
She was always in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
So that could be a burden on somebody also.
Right.
And it's not fair to them that they have to pick up something of a situation like that also.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think a coffee day is an actual day? Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, because you
100%.
sit down and get to know that
Yeah.
person over
See,
a cup of coffee.
People have too much expectations of what a date should be. A date doesn't have to be you going to the finest restaurant spending $400, $500, $600. Going to Starbucks and sitting there and having good conversation could constitute as a date.
100% because once a man start
Yeah.
investing, they expecting sex.
Right.
So reality is you want a coffee date because it's not that you cheat. Is that you want to know if you want to even continue to meet this person. You want to get to know the person. How am I getting to know you just because the better we eat, the more sex you're going to give me or the more chance I get to have sex with you?
Right.
That mean you was a kill. You a prostitute.
Are current people in their 20s having it the hardest in the dating?
100%, because they shouldn't be dating. They need to get their life together. Because you're dating, your relationship is only working because of your parents.
Right.
So reality is you're not even in a healthy dating situation. Your relationship works because guess what? You get to take your little resources and run it to your mate rather than help at home. So therefore, you shouldn't even be dating. You should be getting your life together.
Do you think you could live in the same household with someone if you guys are divorced or separated?
100%.
You think you guys could be in the same house? Really?
In this economy, hell to the yeah. I'm like, Sister Soldier, I don't want you, you don't want me. High five it. High five it. If you don't want me and I don't want you, why are we fighting? Right?
Right.
If we don't want each other, why are we fighting?
Right.
So there's no reason. There's a couple that did that actually in the town I live in. The son, they knew he would act up if they moved. And they moved out of school. He was killing the school district. So the father moved into the guest room. The mother stayed in the main room. The rule they had was they created rules and they stuck to their rules. There's no company allowed in the house.
Okay.
You cannot bring nobody over here, and be mindful of our children hearing your conversations with your new exes or the new guys. Just be mindful, and I'll do the same thing. So when you're able to do that, that means someone said that you're adulting.
That boy said I did it.
Nah, it's just what it is. Listen, most people can't afford to be single no more.
Well,
Cynthia said her grandson is 22, getting ready to be a father, and just recently became a fiance.
Well, hopefully he can take care of that situation. Because again, there's expectations that's gonna come with that, Cynthia.
The real Barbie killer said, me and my ex-husband live together for the sake of our kids and us trying to buy houses.
And I respect
Okay.
that. I respect that.
Respect it.
That means that's two people that really over each other and just realize, you know what? We're not for each other, but we do have responsibilities together and we gotta handle it.
What if they're both not over each other? What if one's done and one's not?
Then that's a problem.
This might not work.
But you should have that conversation with that person because sometimes it takes them to adjust.
Right.
It takes them to adjust.
Somebody said, just be together.
Yo, let's we're gonna get one more question. We're gonna get out of here.
one more question. Y'all better make it good.
Boundaries,
That's a fact.
I
That's
agree,
all.
real Barbie.
All right, last question. What defines a man?
We did that already.
What defines a man?
Okay.
Go, Shay.
I always gotta go. Like Myra said when you started, his ability to lead, how he shows up for you, how he shows up for the people around him, how he handles, just life difficulties, his responsibilities. And yeah, just how he problem solves, his emotional state. Is he too emotional? Is he, those are just some of the things that I feel like constitute a man. And his ability to show emotion sometimes. That's who can make a man,
You want to say anything else before we get out of here? I don't know how to say this. After you. You got anything?
That's it.
What else you got?
Once again, the ability to lead, size of his manhood, financial responsibility. For me, guys, that's a deal breaker for me. So that's why I keep saying
At
that.
least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, I'm honest with it. I know who I am, and I know what I like, and I know what I don't like, and certain things I don't like.
Well, to my men in general, I genuinely believe that as men, you have to realize that
Thank you,
it's a
Michelle.
process on becoming a man. And by understanding that aspect, you have to be patient with yourself and understand that if a woman don't see you for who you are, that means she's not meant to see you. And if a woman sees you, then she'll work with you. And why are you living in your truth? I think if I have to lie to a woman to ultimately get her, then I already started the relationship off bad. So I do believe that as a man, you should always be transparent with your truth. Listen, right now, I'm not in a position to be wasting money. It's not that I don't make money or have money. It's because I'm trying to build more money so I can get somewhere with my life. And if a woman is not mature enough to receive that, then therefore, that's not a wife. That might be a temporary situation. A lot of men waste time with temporary situations opposed to what a wife is. A wife is very understanding. A wife is also patient. She's kind and she's also pure. The truest definition of love is in the Bible. It says patience, pure, and understanding, and it don't hold no ledger. This is true love. So reality is men, when building, you have to be patient with yourself and learn that the woman that's for you is going to see you. You ain't going to have to force her. And you're not going to have to yell at her, oh, she always want to go out to eat. Then leave her alone. She's just not for you. Let someone else enjoy that ride, or she finds herself by herself. But you cannot be mad at someone for wanting what they want because you can't meet the requirements of what they want. That person has to come to reality and see that maybe they're overly asking for what don't exist, or B, you're just not for them. And it's okay. And gracefully bow out and stop thinking it's a loss because you choose to do what's best for you. Till next time, guys.
All right,
Don't let that go over your
guys.
head.